Namaste and welcome to day 3 of our coverage of the chess.com Global Championship. The total prize fund is $1 million as we know, and 6 Indians participate. I'm your host Soumya Swaminathan, and with me is Grandmaster Srinath Narayanan, who is also the coach of one of our player today, Arjun Erigaisi. Arjun plays against Grandmaster David Paravian from Russia, and it's a great group that he's in. There is Nepo, there is Swidler, there's Radjabov, so he could play one of these players going ahead. But for today, he has 4 matches against Paravian. श्रीनाथ, what do you think? आज अर्जुन पाराव्यान का चैलेंज पार कर पाएंगे कि नहीं?
It's going to be a very interesting game, Soumya. It's definitely going to be a challenge. I wouldn't expect Arjun to just breeze through, because David Paravian is very active. He's a very active player. He's very much into the mix. He plays a lot. You go check his games, you will see games filled with Rapid Chess Championship, Title Tuesday. He's the regular in the chess.com events. He's a regular in the chess playing world. And he's also a pretty strong grandmaster, rated about 2600, quite young as well. So this is going to be a challenging opponent. Yesterday, I got a text from one of my friends talking about how, how many sports do you see a 16-year-old beating a former world champion like that? But I was able to explain with some rationale that the former world champion is kind of out of touch for the last 5 years or so. So, for example, if Roger Federer, who announced his retirement yesterday, by the way.
Big news in the sporting world, and nobody saw it coming. Actually, Federer had even discussed participating in some tournaments going ahead, and suddenly yesterday he announced his decision. I'm sure a lot of hearts were broken there.
Absolutely. But if Roger didn't pick up his racket for like 5 years or 10 years and it suddenly is asked to play the best 16-year-old in the world of tennis, I don't think Roger would have it easy either. You have to be constantly training, no matter how amazing you have been. You still have to keep in constant touch, especially at the top level sport, and to take nothing away from anyone. But David Paravian is someone who's constantly in touch. He's a very active player. And in this format, the shorter format, especially in the no increment Armageddon, being in touch is of paramount importance. And therefore, I think it's going to be a challenging match today for Arjun.
Definitely. And actually, even yesterday in the chat, someone pointed out that, even though we have all these legends playing in the tournament, how difficult do you think it's going to be for them to switch from 3D to 2D? And it was a very good point that was made. Actually, we were talking about this since the start of COVID, that, even though online chess has boomed so much during the lockdown, switching from 3D to 2D takes time, but all the youngsters got a lot of experience playing in the online tournaments back to back. But I think these the legends of chess have been reluctant to play online, and as a result, their visualization of the board surely suffers. Because you're used to playing on a 3D board your whole life, and suddenly you're expected to play 4 matches in 2D against really strong players who are constantly training. As you mentioned, they're constantly active, updated. It's not like you can catch them off guard in the opening. None of that is going to happen here. So time scrambles, all of that, they're just more used to it, and it does play a big role in giving them an advantage from the beginning.
Absolutely, Soumya. Well put there. So, chat, what are your thoughts? Arjun Erigaisi, David Paravian, who is going to take this one? And once again, I think we are setting ourselves up for a potential mouth-watering clash between Radjabov against Arjun in the next round if both of them win their matchups today. So, who do you think is going to win today? And who do you think is the favorite in this whole group?
I think this can be a question for the day, that will Arjun go ahead and set him up for a clash with Radjabov in round 2, because Raja also needs to win that match. So let that be the first question of the day. Is that going to happen? And we are watching the chat, guys. So whoever comes up with the right answer first, with the right prediction first, will be rewarded with a diamond membership on chess.com. Yes, you heard that right. Diamond membership. You get access to literally everything that's there. Especially, I really like the chess lessons. I think they are great for beginners, and also the puzzle rush, of course. So, make your predictions, guys.
Absolutely. I think Puzzle Rush is one of the game changing concepts in online chess. And even doing something like 15 minutes a day, which I'm guilty of not doing, but it's easier to advise. So even 15 minutes of doing it a day really, I think, helps you keep in shape, keeps your recall of tactics intact.
It's true. And Aditya Rajashekharan says Kramnik struggled with online earlier, but he seems pretty confident in this tournament. That's true. Actually, I was first of all happy to simply see him participate in the event because he seemed very let down by his uh, previous experience, right? Everybody heard about it, and we also discussed this during the candidates' commentary, in fact. But he made such a crushing start to this tournament by winning his first round 3-0. So he's already gone ahead to round two and is going to play Nihal.
Absolutely, and it's very nice that Kramnik was able to showcase his class in his earlier match against Melkomian. And the next match between Kramnik and Nihal is going to be an incredible contest. Meanwhile, Soumya, we do have kickoff in the some of the games of the Global Championship. The round today, Taimur Radjabov playing against Hou Yifan, and their game has started. Raja has started with knight of 3, knight of 6, and c4 played on the second move, and Hou Yifan already taking a bit of think.
Yifan is playing a tournament after a really long time. For those of you who don't know, Yifan is actually teaching. She's now a professor in an academy in China. So she has actually changed her profession from being a world champion and world number one in women to being a full-time teacher in a university in China. But of course, she plays chess time to time. Even now, she does take time. But I'm not sure how much is she training. It's a real mystery because she doesn't give that many interviews either. So I'm not really sure if she's playing regularly in the Chinese leagues and what's happening over there. But it's very nice to see her play in this tournament for sure.
Absolutely. What does she teach, Soumya? I didn't know about that.
Her subject, I'm also not completely
I
aware.
mean, is she
I
teaching
remember
chess
she
or it's something?
graduated from, no, not chess. It's a academic course. She actually graduated from Oxford University, and
Mhm.
then she went back to China and took up a full-time teaching job. But I'm not completely sure of what subject she teaches. She also does a lot of work in the field of women in chess. So, as I'm told, that she works a lot with David Smurden. They have a small community where they collect a lot of statistics about women's chess, what can be done to further it, and a lot of opinions, a lot of like a lot of research is done in that space. So she's an active member of that group, as far as I know.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Meanwhile, she has got a pretty acceptable position. She actually has a nice position out of the opening, more than acceptable. It was Queen's Indian defense where Raja had his knight on c3. You generally prefer not to have that with the white pieces so early. And because of this, it makes black's development a bit easier. Bishop into c3 taken, b into c3, bishop e4. It actually feels like a hybrid between the Queen's Indian defense and Nimzo Indian defense. Some kind of a combination of both of them. And he's still awaiting kickoff in the Arjun game against David Paravian. But so far, this game, I think Hou Yifan will be happy with her opening play. It's also going to be a big challenge for her coming into a high level chess tournament like this. despite not being full time into chess, as Soumya mentioned earlier, juggling her other responsibilities. And that's always a challenge when you're not full time into chess in a tournament like this.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't think even Raja is full time into chess, so it's
He's
it's very
not, he just played the candidates.
he does, but he does a lot of other things as well. So, I mean, it's an equal match, I would say, in terms of. um, by the way, there is a interesting question in the chat for you. Kapil Chaudhary asks, "What shape is Arjun in terms of online rapid?" I remember a speed match some time ago when you told us before the match itself to keep our expectations low, as Arjun was blitz rusty. Okay, I didn't know about this. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that was sometime in July, I think, a long time ago. That was even before the Junior Speeches Championship, which took place just a couple of months ago. And Arjun, in fact, defeated Hans Niemann. He defeated Nihal Sarin in the finals. So since then, I think he's been in fantastic shape. And he has done well in the other rapid events that he has played in as well. So, as far as the rustiness is concerned, I think it's long gone past, and Arjun will be in. He will be full match ready. If anything, fatigue will be Arjun's enemy, potential enemy in this matchup, because since the Olympiad, he's played in Abu Dhabi Masters, which he won. He played in Dubai Open immediately, and then he played in the Slovenian League, three classical tournaments. Although Slovenian League was not a full blown tournament, only 3 games, but nevertheless 21 classical games since the Olympiad. It just barely been less than a. It just barely been over a month since the Olympiad happened. And there we go. The match has begun. The Arjun game has begun, and he starts off with the Javawa London.
Okay, this is like the most popular line you can face on in online chess. I think half of my games, my opponents have played this against me. Uh, and especially against the King's Indian, which is, I think, Paravian's favorite setup. You know, he loves to play King's Indian from black. I've seen a lot him play this a lot. So yeah, it makes. I mean, a lot of players choose to go for this setup against the King's Indian. You know, it just avoids the main lines and white dictates what to do. But black has his ideas. Yeah, the c5 option is the main option, and queen d2. Interesting, because there's a move like bishop e2 here. So queen d2 for sure, shows that white is going to go for a long castle. Here knight c6 is the main move as far as I remember.
Are you also a Kings Indian player, song?
Yes, I'm also a King's Indian player. So I face this so often, especially in online chess. Everyone just wants to play this setup against me. And nowadays, even over the board, because you don't have so much time to prepare something else for online and offline. So everyone is just preparing all the lines, like the same lines for both the setups.
Yeah, and the thing about Kings Indian players is when you start with d4, bishop f4, and knight c3, you can kind of count on them to reply with g6, which is the setup you're probably expecting if you want to play the Javawa London. And that's kind of the Kings Indian signature. So in that sense, I guess Arjun has kind of got what he has wanted, and Paravian's thinking pretty early in the game.
So he has three options here. One is c into d4. One is knight c6, and can you also consider a move like bishop f5? I think you can. I think you can also.
You're the Kings Indian expert. I
Yeah, I
should
mean,
be.
I remember a game with bishop f5 as well in this position, and it was a good game by black. I think it was played by Vaishali against Pratyusha in national championship earlier this year. So I
Right.
think these three options. But yeah, he's taking his time. Uh, so queen
Right.
d.
He has taken CD. After
Okay.
a 2 minute think, ED and Knight C6 instantly played. Meanwhile, a bit of context to the chat for David Paravian. He made $15,500 from the RCC regular season. He was immediately eliminated from the finals. He lost against Fedosi Van Andreken, but he also earned $4,000 for his 13th to 16th finish. And that's nearly $20,000. But the impressive part, he qualified to the Rapid Chess Championship finals. And you are probably following the event week from week. It was not easy. It was not easy being consistent, getting into the top eight, and qualifying to the finals. But Paravian made it. He was, I think, one of the few players, in fact, one of the 16 players to make it to the RCC finals. And that's quite impressive. And also, yeah, so Arjun is a big favorite in this matchup, but Paravian's not going to be easy.
Yeah, and I have seen a lot of Paravian's classical games as well. He's extremely creative as a player. He has a very good sense of imagination. I remember he has, there was a famous game of his where he gave a queen sack, queen f7, and checkmated black. It is in a lot of these puzzle books, but I don't remember who was his opponent in that position. So that game made him really famous. That was the game that put the spotlight on him. I think this was in 2017 or 18. Um, yeah, so you can't really I think this is quite an equal match, this one. I mean, I won't call one of them a favorite. It could go either way, but of course we are all rooting for Arjun, and chat asks if Arjun is back home. Yes, I guess so. I mean, that's his home right there. He's playing from home.
Yep.
How many
That's his
tournaments
home,
do you think he plays, like all these juniors play in a year?
including the online events or just the OTV
Oh no.
Classical.
I'm not counting like the weekly events on Chess.com, let's say Title Tuesday, but I am counting an event like this. So what do you
It
think?
can be, I think, 20 events a year,
20 events a year.
especially post pandemic, because they were starved of tournaments during the pandemic. And it's only understandable that when the pandemic stopped, they wanted to, they rushed in, it's like opening up a dam. And I think that's what happened in the chess world. The juniors were starved of tournaments during the pandemic, and it just got opened up like crazy once the tournaments resumed.
Yeah, and a lot of them, improved so much post the pandemic. They were working so sincerely. And on that note, I think we should also congratulate Pranav Anand, who became the 76th Grandmaster of India yesterday. I know him a little bit. I actually worked with him a little bit during the pandemic, and he was so motivated. He was not even an international master that time. He was 2300, but he used to be so motivated and well prepared for every game. We played some training games, and he had new ideas every time, and used to, and you used to play training games on different openings every time. He used to have new ideas in every position, and he used to give his best. He was so motivated, even in a time where everyone was, feeling lazy and unmotivated and not knowing what was next. I think all of these juniors had their focus on chess strictly, and they improved so much. They have done so well for themselves.
Absolutely, Soumya. Absolutely. Uh, well put there. And also, big congratulations to Pranav Anand. And Anshika in the chat pointing out that Jabava London seems to be Arjun's favorite. That's a pretty good observation. And also, we have a poll on the chess.com India official channel, the YouTube channel. So do feel free to go there and vote for your favorite player for
Okay,
this match.
done. I have voted. Do you vote in all these polls, Srinath, or you just make them?
I don't
I
make them.
always vote. I always, like, every poll I'll go and vote. It's fun. I really like them.
You like participating in polls, yeah?
I like polls. I like participating in the poll. Bishop B5 and Paragon is in a long thing. He has taken so much time. He's down to 7 minutes on his clock.
Yeah, it's like Nihal
I
hacked
think,
into Paravian's account. If
you know what? I think
thankfully for the video feed. Sorry.
no, that's fine. I think this Queen D2 move really took him off guard because it's not the most common move in that position. So he didn't expect it completely. Like Bishop E2 is the more is the regular move in this position, or even D into C5. And Queen D2 caught him off guard, and since then he's been thinking a lot. So he's on his own in this position.
Yeah, well put there, Soumya. So what does Black do here after Bishop B5? Uh, putting yourself in the King's Indian player's psyche. What would your thoughts be as Black if you are playing in this position?
I would definitely look at Queen B6. I mean, I'm just wondering why is he not going for this move immediately, and why is he, you know, calculating? What exactly is he calculating in this position? What does he
I
not
think one of the potential dangers in such a position could be that aren't you like simply allowing takes and knight a4 and this pawn structure?
But it should be okay, no? Like I play Queen B5. Where is the king going? I'm playing against your king.
Yeah, queen b5. I'd go b3, I guess, and the king will go on this side because yeah, the king side is a bit exposed, but far from being in any real danger.
But I'm always going to have counter play against your king because you can't short castle. You have to play king f2, and if you long castle, I will also have
Oh, white can
some.
even yeah, king f2 should be good.
So I ideally want to take a break with c5, but knight on a4 controls everything. That's the point, right?
Right. And this pawn structure in general, it's a bit weakness inducing, which is why David Paravian, he took knight into e5. He didn't want to allow bishop into c6, d into e5, and now knight to d7, attacking the e5 pawn. He's giving up the d5 pawn, but he doesn't mind that. He takes the e5 pawn, but Arjun ignores it and just goes long castle. Knight takes e5, and now rook e1. Is he still in his prep?
This is not prep, but this is a very expedient solution, I would say, because black has solved that problem of his pawn structure. He's taken the pawn on e5. So even if he gives up the d5 pawn, it's okay as long as he doesn't fall under some tactic. Because right now, for example, knight c6 is a very natural move to make, but after knight d5, you're threatening knight e7 on the next move. You're also threatening bishop c6, knight e7. So I don't know what black does here. Probably e6 is the only move, but it looks so wrong.
Yeah, e6 uh, earns the trust of Stockfish.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
many
it's
word changes there in my mind in the few moments after
yeah,
looking at
because
the engine evaluation.
you're not very comfortable keeping your queen on d8, but then you realize there's probably no major tactic coming in, so you can allow it. And I, the other problem for black, or maybe it's a good problem to have, is that there are not too many options.
Right. Yeah, true. True. Not having too many options always makes life easier. But Soumya 9 6 happened and Arjun didn't take uh, on d5. He simply went bishop to h6. And the speed at which Arjun's playing and just staggering. He's just playing all these moves in 1 or 2 seconds, which definitely indicates that he's probably still in a strap.
Wow, this is very good prep if it's his prep because it's very deep, it's very concrete. and you've also given up some material. So it's very responsible as well. Bishop
Yeah,
h6.
the dark square bishop is off, the king's Indian bishop, and is it already time for black to start feeling a bit scared? Meanwhile, I get information from the chat that David Paravian is the world number 2 in Grandmasters hat whirling. Who's number 1? I wonder. It's a wonderful time to bring it up, this hat twirling thing, because you can see David going full at it. And meanwhile, I also hear that late one min is apparently the number 1 at doing it. But he's not a grandmaster, I think. So I'm not sure if that ranking system works. I think Chesscom
I remember
is
Ding Lijian's first round opponent in this tournament. He also was head twirling like at a god speed, like he was head twirling so much. I think he's in good contention for this World Championship match. Oh, his username is Wonderful Time. Okay, right. Huh. Okay, fine. People, they come up with these strange usernames and you never really get to know who's the person behind the mask. You just know them by their very
yeah,
famous IDs. So I, of course, know what Wonderful Time on chess.com, but I never knew that this was the same grandmaster with that ID. Interesting.
right. They should just go for something simple and sweet like Saumyo, yeah? Just add a Myo.
That's, yeah, that's a very yeah, actually, I've always thought about this. Is it a good thing to have your own name or just to keep a like scary username? Maybe scary username helps, no? If
I
nothing,
think
at least the
anonymous
opponent is
username
aware.
helps.
Anonymous, but at some point it will be revealed.
Yeah, it depends who you are. Like someone like Nihal finds it very hard to keep his identity secret because there are only like 1 or 2 players in the world who can play as well as him in online chess. But
Hmm.
for someone like me, it's very easy to stay anonymous if I want to because there are hundreds of people playing at the same level and nothing to give away unless I play too much Catalan.
It's a very good question. I mean, there's a question in my mind which our producer asks, and I really like it. Do players think a lot about what they wear prior to an online event? I mean,
I wish they do.
very good question.
I
I don't think anybody has thought about this. I'm sure.
think Levon does.
I think Mamedov surely does because that day his shirt is not going to survive that match, right? He's going to keep chewing it. So he needs to wear his least favorite t-shirt for the match, which he
Yeah,
doesn't
and he
mind.
certainly needs to wear a freshly washed shirt.
Freshly
That's
washed.
it's even more reason.
Freshly washed, least favorite. You don't mind losing it and it should be clean. Yesterday I saw Anish also chewing his t-shirt actually.
Yeah, he said that he learned it during CSL. They had a training session. It seems. Is it true, Soumya? Tanmay Bhatt's contribution to the elite chess world is the shirt gambit.
Your gambit.
Just literally a gambit because the shirt is not going to survive for long.
Oh my god, what's happening in Arjun's game? He's just gone all out. He's played g4, hg, h5. He's going to bring rook h1 the next move. Are we going to
Yeah,
see a finish to this very
I'm not
solid
so
game?
sure. It's not going to be easy. I think Black's position is very solid, and this queen comes to f6, queen g7. So very scary attack, but the queen will protect the h8 square. The bishop will protect the h7 square. I don't see a clear path through to the Black's king at this moment.
Yeah, and after
Do
queen
you?
f6, a very pretty tactic doesn't work because after, let's say, the d5, ed knight d5, you simply move the queen back and the e7 square is guarded by the c6 knight. And if you take bishop c6 first, then after b into c6, the pawn protects d5. So again, this tactic is not possible. So even though it's
Yeah,
an
so
idea,
Paravian has played Queen f6.
yeah, queen f6 is the most logical move in this position. You want to go back to g7 and defend your king with your beloved piece. Um, do we have something in reply to this defense?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what I'm wondering. I'm pretty sure there are ways for White to drum up some initiative to create
so
and pose problems, but what is it concretely?
So what about a move like f into g5, 4, bishop g4, and rook g1, let's say. We can always consider these moves and find out if they work or not. And after bishop d1, we take on g6 with the pawn. And if
Interesting.
black takes, then rook g6, queen into g6, queen into g6, h8, and king d1 is finished. So, or even bishop d3. You don't even need to take the bishop.
Arjun heard you, Soumya, because he did take fg, bishop g4, and he immediately went rook to g1. So
Yeah,
once
this
again,
is
Soumya continuing from where she left the last 2 days, predicting bang on the games, the moves that is happening in the games. And what does black do now? So
knight e5 looks like a decent defense over here. You want to defend the bishop on g4 and you also don't want to open up the g file. Does it work or is it? Yeah, it seems like a decent move, no? Rook f1 and queen g7. That's our idea. What do
yeah,
you
yeah,
think?
it's knight e5 certainly keeps things under control, but after rook f1, yeah, after rook f1, queen g7, it can the defense seems to be holding. Although white can, I think, still continue to pose some problems with queen f4,
But now
and
it's on h5, no, with the bishop or even
also
with the
what
pawn.
happened,
Even with the
right?
pawn. And
Yeah, true. And black is keeping things under control. So knight e5 has been played by Paravi, and this is a live position that we have right now. And instead of rook f1, I was wondering if we can just start with something else.
I'm wondering
Rook
rook e1.
e1.
Yeah, this was the move I had in mind as well because rook e5, queen e5, rook g4 is our immediate threat. And how does black stop it?
A good question. Does black need to stop it, or can he bail out with a sacrifice because he has so many pawns?
What kind of
Also, it's something like
sacrifice?
queen f2. Mhm.
Yeah, it is. But rook f1 was. I wasn't sure what we are doing for rook gf1.
Yeah, this is set to be losing. No, I think the pressure is too much for Paravian, and he has only what 20 seconds,
Oh
16
my god.
seconds.
Oh my god, make a move. Bishop f5. Logical. Bishop f5 is logical. You defend your piece and you also protect g6. Does Arjun have a reply ready? No, he's thinking. So Queen F4. Okay, he's so well prepared, man. Arjun has it all figured out. He plays Queen F4, Knight C6 back. Paravan in bullet mode right now. Bishop D3. You are threatening Bishop
Yeah,
F5. You are threatening Knight D5. You have two threats in this position. Queen D4. Wow, very nice defense. Very nice defense by Paravian in high pressure match. Queen H6, does it work? But then you go back Queen G7, right?
yep.
So this is still manageable. Queen G3 here. Queen G3 could be a move here. Keeping the pressure, not exchanging queens. I think this is what Arjun is going to play. No?
Let's see. Yeah, Queen G3 certainly makes sense, Soumya. It's also possible, I guess, to. I don't know. The question is just so complex. I like queen g3 because it covers the e5 square and it also keeps an eye on the g6 point. But is there more options as well? It's hard to. It's there are not so many options for white here, yeah,
Yeah, I don't
because
think
the
white has
queen
so
is
many options.
the queen is offered trade, and there are not many squares it can retreat to. And of the squares that it can retreat to, g3 is the only square that keeps control of the e5 square, which is an important defensive port for black here. So I think queen g3 makes perfect sense, and I really don't see anything else which seems as attractive.
Yeah, and actually your threat is h into g6 after queen g3. So black needs to react very strongly and concretely. For example, let's say we play queen g3, bishop into d3. Uh, oh, knight d7 is a very good move, but just for sake of showing it, bishop d3, pawn into d3, knight b4. Here,
This
if
has
you
happened, by the way. It's there in the game. Bishop d3, c d3 has happened.
knight
And
b4 on
knight
the
b4
board,
has also happened, Soumya.
king d2. I don't see how black continues. I saw this and I thought this is over, but is there a difference? I don't see it. King d2 on the
Apparently, there is
board.
a difference. Apparently, there's a difference. Like, you can go back queen f6 and at least not get mated immediately. But
Not get mated.
white does take a lot of. White does probably take the g6 pawn, the e6 pawn, and also more active pieces. Arjun has gone for king d2. Paravian just down to 7 seconds. What is he going to do? 2 seconds. And he goes king g7 in that mind numbing time trouble, which is a blender. Rook
Wait,
into e6, game over.
e6? Rook e6,
No,
queen
rook
d3.
d6, there's queen d3 check. So calmly
Yes.
head g6,
f5 and
and
rook d8.
now queen c7 check. It's checkmate, no?
Oh my
Queen
god,
c7, there's
queen
still
c7
king f6.
checkmate. Oh, there is king f6. So why not rook e6?
Yeah, rook e6 should be simple. Simple and safe. Rook e6 with the threats of rook e7 and queen c7. I think Arjun's all but taken the game one of this match.
Can we also play queen c7, king f6, rook e6, king into e6, rook e1 check, king f6, queen e7, and give a checkmate over there? And if he doesn't,
Yeah.
if he plays after rook g1, we queen
No, but the
g4.
problem is here you can't play rook g1 because it's controlled.
Because it's controlled. So we can't do this. And rook e6, does this work?
Rook e6, the king starts running from this side, I guess.
Rook e6?
Oh, no, rook e6 is just rook f6.
Rook f6 is the point, right?
Yeah.
A nice variation to show that white should be calm and composed and probably just take on e6.
He has taken rook e6. With rook c8, Paravan covers the c7 square. And now I think rook some queen h3 somewhere.
Rook e7, no? Rook e7, king
Yeah,
f6.
rook e7, king g8. Yeah, king f6 is mate. Queen g5. King h6 is also checkmate. So king g8 is the only move.
King g8 and queen h3.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this is beautiful. Very nice, yeah. Queen h8,
Absolutely.
even queen into h8, king h8 and g7, for example.
And now what do you do?
There are many ways
Knights.
to.
Yeah, rook e7 check played, king f6 and queen g5 is checkmate. Arjun has won the first game. He goes 1-0 up.
Beautiful game by Arjun. Beautiful preparation. So much pressure on Paravian from move 6, in fact. And he's got it. He didn't make even one mistake in this game.
Absolutely. What a blitzkrieg there. And in the other game between Raja against Hou Yifan, it ended in a draw just about a few seconds before the Arjun game ended. I don't think Raja got a lot of chances in this game, and Hou Yifan was quite solid. In the end, they repeated and made a draw at this point, and we have a 6-minute break starting now. So Arjun has got up from his chair. he goes around. But what a win by Arjun! What a statement! What a dominating performance!
Fantastic way to start the match. Fantastic way to show that he's extremely well prepared, even for every challenge thrown by Paravian his way. I'm really excited to see the like how Paravian is going to handle this, because it's clear that Arjun has a strategy for every game. And as we were discussing with Srinath, you did discuss a little bit about his strategy about this match before you joined us for the commentary, right, Shri?
Yeah, a little bit. It was more like Arjun telling me, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, nice. Did you check this? Did you check that?" And it's like, "Yeah, I've got everything covered. Don't worry." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. You know what to do." This was the content of that conversation overall, and I must mention that it all gets carried over. The preparation that Arjun does for each of his game, whether it's Olympiad or whether he plays in the Abu Dhabi Masters, whether he plays in a CCT or RCC, the Rapid Chess Championship. Every day he prepares something. He comes up with ideas. He comes up with new things. And in chess, the chances of the preparation appearing on board, which you have prepared today, is quite less because your opponents can play like 10 different things. So you have like 10% probability of it coming. But when you keep preparing every day, you start accumulating a store of ideas. And then the ideas get implemented in the unlikeliest of moments. So you prepared something in April and then you get it in a game in July. And that's what constantly happens in Arjun's games. He has this storehouse of ideas. New concepts in openings, and it just keeps presenting itself because he also plays a lot of games. I think that's also a very important factor in getting your preparation in the games. Like if you play an event once in 2 months, like how Botvinnik or Casper used to do, then in modern chess it's a lot harder to show your ideas because someone else is much likelier to do it. The volume of games has increased so much in modern times.
Fair point. And I'm wondering, how does he also remember those ideas? Because it is one thing to prepare a lot of ideas, but another to actually recollect them at a time you need them.
He actually forgets a lot, like any other human being, but the probability of remembering increases a lot when you repeat things every day. And he doesn't repeat them every day, but before every game he keeps repeating them. So again, when he has prepared something in April, good chances that he has repeated that file or that idea about 3 or 4 times before he gets to implement it in July. And I think this is the massive difference. I remember reading somewhere before one of the exams or something for my 10th boards or something that the key to a wonderful memory or a key to having a great memory is in repetition, something like that. And I think that holds a lot of truth. And yeah, Arjun winning the first game, he has a 1-0 lead, and Radjabov drawing the first game. And I don't know what I did, but I think talking about that exam, the boring quotes and stuff, must have frightened Soumya off. I'm really sorry, Soumya. I'll stop talking about exams. Please do come back soon. Meanwhile, chat, what's up? What are your predictions? Is David Paravian going to hit back in this match, or is Arjun just going to take it to the cleaners? And is Arjun's strategy going to be solid, or is he going to keep trying to steamroll his opponents? These are the top questions we have before heading into the game two, which is set to begin in just about 2 or 3 minutes or so. Gives me time just to talk about a couple more exam quotes. But yeah, on a more serious note, we have Soumya back.
Okay, I have to go once again. I'll just be back in 1 minute. Please continue your exam course till then.
I'm sorry, chat. I tried, but you're stuck with me no matter how hard I try. Really apologies for that. But yeah, prediction for Arjun's second game. Um and to make it easier, let's start with let's assume David starts with 1e4. And what are your predictions for Arjun's opening with the black pieces in the second game? The winner of this gets a diamond membership. The first person in the chat to predict Arjun's opening correctly in game two. And also, do you notice any difference in my setup in my video today, chat? Is there anything different at all? Do you see any difference? Um, if so, what do you think the difference is? What has changed? And let's talk more about it once we have your replies to the questions. There might be a membership connected to this question as well. So stay tuned, brace yourself. And the update we are getting is that the Radjabov Yifan match, the next game, starts in 5 minutes, but the Arjun David match we have to wait for about 10 minutes. Not sure why we have to wait for such a long time, but good things come to those who wait. Isn't your exam over? Well, the NEET exams are a never ending thing, Nilanjana. It keeps happening every year. And they have a very interesting way of making the students fully prepared all 12 months of a year. And what I noticed is they announce an exam in, let's say, January, and then they prepone it to December, and then they change it to March, and then finally it goes to May, and then it comes back to April. This is such a masterful way of making sure that the students are prepared all 12 months of the year. It's just such an amazing and innovative method. I'm pretty grateful that we don't have a similar concept in chess, though. Imagine having the CGC scheduled for September, and then we suddenly change it to November. And then 1 week before the event, we bring it back to October 20. How fun would that be? Yes, Sanshika is quite sharp. I did change the camera angle, but is it just the angle, or is there anything different as well? Is it just the angle, or is there perhaps a new camera in the house? Some change in equipment? What do you think? Is there any change in the brightness levels? Has it gone down? Has it increased? Is it at the same level? No difference. Let's see the predictions. Anirvan Guha Sicilian, Sanket E5, Gabbar Singh Sicilian. So if Sicilian happens, Anirvan is the first, and if E5 happens, it's Sanket Joshi. This is, of course, assuming that David plays E5, E4. Now, if he doesn't play E4, then we are probably not going to have diamond membership giveaways for this question. And a lot of London. Actually, yeah, we can actually make it open. We can include any opening because we have London. So if London happens, it's Priyadarshan Jha and Chirag Sharma says Sicilian, but we have lots of Sicilian already. So your best chance of getting a membership is by diversifying the openings. And to diversify the openings, you need to probably learn more openings, for which you probably need the diamond membership. So it's a vicious circle. You have to answer the question and get the diamond membership. But to answer the question, you need learning materials provided by the diamond membership. The paradox of life. What to do? Video quality is better. Thanks. Some indication there. Sudarshan Rangan Srinath, are you doing neat? You think? And Shika is like, call back Soumya, please. Maybe she's not coming. You never know. And even if she comes, it doesn't mean I'll stop talking about neat. Brightness changed, but might be a filter, beauty filter. I don't use filters, but Yeah. If the brightness is better, then I'm happy. I feel brighter just by hearing that the brightness has increased. Maybe that is the reason for the brightness. Meanwhile, I see I have a bit of a link, a bit of a peephole where I can see what the different players are doing in between the games, and it's quite interesting. What do you think are some of the top activities that the players are doing in between the games? Um, do you think there's any chance that they might be watching the stream right now, or are they just checking the games that they have just played? Do you think they'll be on YouTube and Twitch, or just preparing for their next game? Aside from these things, aside from these things, what else can a player do in between the games? Arjun's certainly not in front of the computer. This we know for sure. And meanwhile, the chat's most awaited moment is here. Soumya is back.
Yeah, I was snooping on your conversation with the chat actually. It was quite interesting. Why did they think you are appearing for NEET? You were asking them a lot of questions, is it?
No, I was just talking about it. Um,
Ah.
my one of my mods is a medical aspirant, and she's one of the most beloved mods of her community. So that's my connection with NEET.
Okay. Interesting. We have Yifan versus Raja on the board. I think Temur is black in this game.
Are
And
you saying that because it's a Berlin opening?
yes, actually, I mean, I guessed it from the opening only, but then I also looked at their cameras. Yeah, so this is obviously Temur's favorite opening. He played a lot of it, even in the candidates and all of his online tournaments as well. Let's see, d5 on the board. Let's see what knight bd2. Maybe rook e8 is a move here, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, rook 8 is one of the moves. D4 is, I think, one of the top moves here.
D4.
And rook 8 is one of the lesser known moves. I see you prepared a lot lately. You're very on point in terms of the latest opening trends.
I don't know. I mean, I prepared a lot. I prepare a lot in general, but sometimes I simply don't remember any of my preparation. That's why I asked you about how Arjun remembers it, but then I was not on time to actually listen to the explanation. So I'll try
No,
again
Arjun
some.
forgets a lot.
Acha, he
Sometimes
does.
he forgets what we had prepared in that morning, like the file in the morning. He sometimes he forgets when he's in the game. But that said, he also prepares a lot. The volume of information he takes in is, I think, 5 times more than the average professional. He takes in a lot of information in a lot of less time. So that is the reason why he forgets a lot.
It's interesting. Actually, I'm sure he forgets a lot as per his standard of remembering things. I mean,
Right.
it must be remembering things much more than the average person for sure. I read this interesting book on memory, sleepwalking with moonwalking with Einstein. I think I mentioned to you about it once, and it was about memory techniques, and it's written by a world memory champion. But I mean, it's a very interesting book to read, and it also talks a lot about mind mapping, which is a more uh, popular way of
That's what
remembering
Sherlock
things.
uses, no?
Mind mapping is actually a very popular method of remembering things. So it's one of the many ways to remember things. Yeah, mind palace is different, and mind mapping is different.
Acha. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Sorry.
So mind mapping may you actually make like a diagram of things that are in that you want to remember, and you associate them, and there are different ways to do it, but basically you actually draw a map of your mind. So, like a diagram. Anyway, but all of these techniques don't really work in real life, is my honest opinion. I mean, they just work for those competitions, and you remember whatever you need to remember to win that competition. But in real life, you don't have so much time to, also go through the information, then to actually train your brain to think in a certain way separately. Like, are you going to achieve as a human being, right? So I just feel it's too far fetched.
Yeah, another thing about chess is, Soumya, the information is not static, it's constantly dynamic, Like you have this Berlin position and you work on something with 8 a5, and then something changes entirely in the next 2 or 3 years, and your file has a lot of changes. So it's not like you have this information and you digest it and you remember it, end of story. The nature of information is constantly changing, and I think that is one of the most challenging aspects of remembering in chess.
Yeah, that's also true actually. So she's played bishop a4 now. I wonder if it was necessary to play it, but she's played it. It prevents a4 actually. I mean, one idea is that if you move your queen with the bishop on b5, then black has the option of playing a4 himself.
Right. It's
And
usually
also,
quite common to play a4 with white, though, to prevent this. And I think something similar happened in this game in Candidates in which Hikaru lost with the black pieces against
hmm,
Raja.
hmm.
But bishop a4 is, I think, slightly less efficient way of doing it because the bishop has better things to do, honestly.
Bishop a4 is
Meanwhile,
also there, no? Like it's a typical idea in Italian as well. Yeah, has the game kicked off in Arjun's versus Paraguay?
yeah, the game has started. The game has just started in David Paravian, Arjun
Oh,
Erigaisi's game. And sorry to disappoint you, chat. Really, really sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. But David Paravian started with d4, and it is Semislav Moscow variation. And this, no one in the chat got. So really sorry to disappoint you. No diamond memberships there, but maybe I can do this giveaway. Guess the new camera that I got, and the person with the right guess gets a diamond membership.
oh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I wouldn't even be in contention if I was in the chat right now. Tech geeks in
You
the
could.
chat, come on, apply your knowledge base and let's take a guess.
I'm
Also,
pretty sure the
yes,
chat will get it right in a matter of few guesses,
really?
because yeah, because I think there are like what 5 or 10 cameras for streamers in the entire world. And this is not even such a difficult question because I haven't gone for those really expensive cameras that, for example, someone like Gotham Chess has. It's a pretty modest camera. So I think they are very likely to get a diamond membership. And Abhinav Gupta says, as a prelims qualified UPSC candidate, well done, Abhinav. I can say that remembering any info depends on a lot of revision. A timely revision is the key to remember. Sounds a lot like spaced repetition.
Yeah, revision for sure. I mean, I think practice and revision are two things which are a must do in any case. I mean, maths is actually similar. By the way, Harsha Kanala says it's usually when you're challenged that you remember things, Soumya. People who remember lyrics of a song are sad. People who like melody are happy. It's an interesting point because I remember the lyrics of every song I've heard. I remember movie scenes. I remember movie dialogues from my childhood. I can I can tell the name of an actor, like a side actor of a movie I have watched 20 years ago by just looking at a scene. I mean, it's crazy. I remember all of these things, but chess openings, I can't.
Wow. Meanwhile, Akash Jain has nailed it in the chat quite surprisingly because everyone else had, I think, gone completely off the radar. But I don't know. I don't know how Akash did it. It's amazing. First guess. You can write to
Razor
Rakesh at
Kitab
chess.com
Pro.
to claim your diamond membership for
Razor
your.
Kitab Pro.
How did they do that? I mean, how did he do that? It's not Kia though. It's Kyo, but I think close enough.
He understood that the other guesses are not right because you weren't calling them out as right. So he just took the one that was left.
I see that Logitech is the favorite though. Wow, RK has such a compliment for my camera that he thinks I was using my iPhone as camera. And if I actually did that, the clarity would have been at, I think, a different world. But thanks for thanks from Razer's behalf. Akash knows all the cameras, I think. Now I see that he's just going. Uh, he's just going. He's just mentioning all the different companies that make webcams.
He's just taking a guess, yeah. But yeah, it's a right guess. I mean, it's bang on. By the way, in the game has progressed quite a lot. So let's see what's happening. Arjun has taken the e5 break, which is a good sign in this
The
position.
Moscow. Yeah.
Yeah, in this position in the Moscow, your bishop is actually a little, I mean, your position is a little cramped, and your bishop on c8 needs some breathing space. So e5 is a break you want to take. And after knight b6, bishop g4, your bishop will be out in the game. Right now, it's not possible because white is threatening knight d6. But that's one of the ideas in Moscow.
Absolutely. Which is why Arjun starts with ED4. He gets rid of this E5 pawn and then goes for
So he's ready.
knight B6.
But he's ready to give up the d6 bishop, huh? Knight d6 is allowed.
Yeah, knight D6 he doesn't mind. He's just giving the bishop which he already took from white, the dark square bishop. So e takes d4, knight takes d4, and knight e5 is the problem. I mean, not a problem as such, but black will be, I think, black wouldn't mind the activity that he has. So again, white starts with knight into d6, queen into d6 taken. Once again, Arjun starting off with a time lead in the game. He has a clear time advantage and a 3-minute advantage. And in terms of game also, I don't think he's doing badly at all. Although this bishop on a2 will, I think, be pretty well placed.
Bishop a2, na, it's quite nice. Yeah, I agree. But black is also fine, na. Abhi bishop g4 is a move, for example. You develop your bishop and you
Right.
take it to g6 after h5 and g6, but yeah, it's not liked much by the computer for some reason.
Yeah, it's not lagged much by the computer because potentially because of f3 and the bishop not having a good square to go to.
No, I wanted to bring it to g6. So after bishop h5
But this allows some knight f5, no?
and
Or
queen h.
you think it's just temporary?
I thought it's very temporary and we can always kick it away.
Right. But David has played rook a d1 because he wants to bring his rook to d4, not the knight.
I thought this allows c5. So I didn't like it so much. Maybe no problem.
And a lot of liquidation, yeah.
Matlab, I thought now, see, black's main problem in the Moscow was his pawn structure, e6 and c6. And now he's able to break free of both of those limitations, right? He took the e5 break as well as c5. So I don't see why black should be worse.
Absolutely true, Samya, what you're saying. But Despite solving these problems, black is still a bit behind in development. And in these types of symmetrical questions, this can get dangerous quickly because in just a few moves, white can whip up an attack that black is unprepared for. So that is the reason why white wouldn't mind entering into such a question. Also, uh, rook a1, knight f6 played by Arjun. He doesn't go for c5, rook into d4, queen e7, and this is the position we have. So I think what Arjun is aiming for is to just trade everything. Bishop e6, rook to d8, just trade everything. And knight f6 was useful. It gains one tempo and allows black to bring his pieces in time.
Right. Knight f6 is a good move. And now what does white do?
h3 h3 has been played by David.
Preventing. Okay, actually the bishop doesn't have many squares, no? I mean, bishop e6 is literally the only square.
Yeah, but one square is all we need, I think.
Yeah, one square is all.
And it neutralizes this bishop on c4. One square is all we need. One good camera is all we need. And what? Why did I go full screen there? RKR is like chesscom director. Please make Shri full screen. We can see if it is really good. You can still wait for the chess this week for checking my camera on full screen. You will see me there. Sanket is like bishop e6 and queen c5 after this. Yeah, queen c5 makes a lot of sense. Sanket, yes, queen c5. But you have to watch out for b4 before. I mean, in case you play queen c5. So Arjun has gone with the pawn to c5 first. Starts with c5. He wants to put his bishop on b7. He just goes a different direction. This is a very interesting insight into the mindset of I and Arjun. I am stuck in trying to equalize and trade everything, especially with a 1 point lead. Arjun just goes about making an improving move and getting his pieces into the game, not because he doesn't, he's averse to a draw or something like that, but also he understands better that. You don't always get stay solid by being passive. You have to just go out there and get your pieces into action. And especially the level at which he's been playing, level at which he has played, it clearly they can get it can get very punishing if Arjun gets too passive and allows his opponents to boss their way. So he very clearly, yeah, I think this shows a lot of difference.
It also reminds me of a observation made by Vidit during their camp. We had all these we had all these Olympiad camps the last 3-4 months, and the first camp was with Mr. Boris Gelfand, and all of us were very excited and asking a lot of questions. And during that camp, Gelfand sir was showing some end games, and his idea was that even if you can save half a point, instead of 8.5 out of 10, you can actually score 9 out of 10. Then it is something to be very proud of, very valuable. And Arjun immediately asks, "But why can't we score 10 out of 10, sir?" And Vidit just looks at him thinking, "Oh my God, like this thought would also not occur to me." Like he just doesn't want to give even half a point, even 1 point away from the tournament. He wants to win all his games. And it's exactly what you said. Yeah, this mindset itself is very special and different, something which sets him apart and helps him make that many points. I think even in Tata Steel, I remember, he had already won the tournament with one round to spare, but he had set himself a goal of scoring 10.5 out of 13. And so he wanted to achieve that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was there when Arjun asked that question. I was like, why can't we convert 10 out of 10 questions?
That's exactly the point. Yeah.
Then
Please
people
clip
are
it and
looking at
share
him
it.
like, what? Greedy Vedi has been replaced by Greedy Ajju. But Arjun had to play the bishop to e6. There were some deadly threats created by that knight coming to h4. So he neutralizes that knight. And this pawn structure improvement he made with c5 and b6, it serves two very useful functions. One is when we go into the endgame, these pawns are a lot better placed on c6, on c5, b6, and a7 compared to the earlier pawn structure with c6, b7, and a7. And aside from that, the rook was on d4. And with c5, what Arjun has done is he has just driven away the rook all the way back to d1. And it makes it so much easier for him to neutralize White's initiative in on the d file with this. So he scored improvement on 2 pawns with that move c5 and b6.
Very nice. Abhinav Gupta has a question. What should be the strategy for the Armageddon bidding? It's interesting in this tournament. I think we can take this question before the Armageddon because we'll surely get to an Armageddon today. No, if
You
not in
think
this
so?
match, then the other, yeah, one of the many matches that are going on. I mean, every day we are seeing at least one Armageddon happening. So,
Right. Um, but I think it also largely depends on the individual strength and weakness. So that's also a factor. There's no one perfect Armageddon strategy for everyone. It's largely a one-on-one thing. Knowing what you're capable of, what your opponent is capable of. I think those things are also important things to take into account when you're uh, choosing the Armageddon bidding. Like we saw some people preferring to, like what Nihal said about Roth, that he didn't really mind the draw odds because Roth isn't especially solid. But then there are some people who can just sit tight like this. So against them, you might not have the same strategy.
yeah, and also I think, yesterday, I think it's a good time to address this as well. That yesterday, a lot of people were really shocked at Anand sir's decision of opting for 7 minutes, right? And I saw a lot of comments as well that isn't it obvious that you shouldn't, opt for such less time. And I remember you and Ronak were also very surprised. This was the whole atmosphere, and on the other hand, me who's not very experienced in online events, I don't play as much online as the present generation. And playing online is a once in a while occasion for me, let's just put it that way. I was like, okay, 7 minutes sounds fine. I mean, he can handle it. I didn't think it was such a big deal. So a lot of these things also come down to experience and just information about that particular time format and situation. So now that we have the information that 7 minutes is too low, I will not opt for it again. Like next time, if some player opts for 7 minutes, I know that this is very, very low. But the first time, I had no idea. So I can actually understand Anand sir's decision perfectly well. That when you don't have much information, you just go for what you think works and you just try it out.
Yeah, completely agree with you. When you don't have much information, I think it's very hard to make uh, a decision which in hindsight you an optimal decision. It's very hard to do that. And that's the reason why people make mistakes in the beginning of anything. Meanwhile, we have a poll out on the YouTube chess.com India. Round 2 kya hoga? Aju wins again, draw, or David comeback karega? That's all the Hindi you're going to get from me today, by the way.
There is a demand for some Tamil. Raj Anand says ரெண்டு பேரும் 2 நிமிஷம் தமிழ்ல பேசுங்க for the TN fans. We could
Rendu
actually
nimsham is too much, I think, because there are just so many people who won't understand Tamil here.
ரெண்டு ரெண்டு மூணு மூவ்ஸ்க்கு வேண்டி பேசலாம்.
That too in the opening, yeah, because that will
இப்போ நம்மளுக்கு
be
டேர்ம்ஸே
fast.
தெரியாது தமிழ்ல என்ன. Knight G5 ரொம்ப நல்லா மேனுவருக்கு தமிழ்ல என்ன சொல்றதுன்னு தெரியாது. அவ்வளவுதான் தமிழ் தெரியும்.
That you
நைட்
can, I think, say maneuver.
மேனுவர் தான் சொல்லணும்.
I think so. Maneuver in Tamil.
Maneuver in Tamil. Chat, what is maneuver in Tamil? Can the Tamil fans, Tamil
Suchi.
speaking, என்ன?
Suchi.
Suchi.
Suchi. Suchi is
It's a
not exactly
plan.
maneuver.
Suchi is a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
It's not just a plan. It's actually, yeah, I mean, it's a plan, but it's also a cunning plan, I think. At least in terms of how I've seen it being applied practically. It's like,
Trick. It's a trick.
yeah, kind of. Exactly. Trick. But languages are very complex.
முயற்சி is the solution, right? Or problem?
No, attempt.
முயற்சி is an attempt.
முயற்சி is an attempt. Try.
So, knight g5 on the board, bishop c4. I think white has an upper hand in this endgame, is my assessment.
You're completely right. The bishop is a bit better than the knight. Also, I'm curious about his decision to go knight to g5, Soumya. I was thinking knight g3, knight f5, knight d4, these kind of things. But Arjun just went back knight g5.
He didn't like bishop d3, I think. Knight g3, bishop d3.
Yeah, right.
And it controls the f5 square, and then you play king f2, e4 next, actually. So, oh, you don't play e4 because then you give up the f4 square after knight h5 and knight f4.
Yeah, in general, I think white will be careful not to play e4 with this structure. And also, I think Arjun doesn't mind taking f into e6, which I would have preferred to avoid if I was black, but I don't think Arjun had a lot of options at this point when white played f3. This is a curious point. And knight g5 wouldn't be in my top two moves. So curious what he had in mind. That's for the post-game conversation.
Yeah, and just to explain this position a little bit, why we think that the bishop is better than the knight is usually when you have pawn islands on both sides of the board. Like we see here, there is a3 b2 versus a7 b6 and c5, and on the king side we have e3 f3 g2 h3 versus f7 g6 and h6. So there are pawn islands on both sides of the board. In these kind of positions, the bishop is superior to the knight usually. And secondly, in the other advantage that white has in this position is his bishop is very well placed. He's not stuck behind his own pawns. It's an open position. While the knight, on the other hand, does not have any outposts. It does not have many targets to attack as well. And for example, if the knight was on e5, it would have been so much better placed than on g5, where it's not doing much. And it's not clear how do you make it into a stronger piece. Even on e6, it's not doing much. So that's the reason we think white is slightly better here.
Very well explained, Soumya. But I think the recent events are slightly in favor of Arjun. And also knowing Arjun, I feel that he will be totally confident being able to hold his own in this position, because although the bishop is for sure better than knight, no disagreements there, the level of difference, the amount of difference here, I feel is not so high. Meanwhile, we have a super chat from Vishrut Krishna. Thanks a lot, Vishrut. Soumya's explanation is very consoling. I think Vishy was also unsure of his own capability to win on demand because of his games that day. Maybe one factor. I'm not sure about the second sentence at all. I really don't think Vishy was unsure of his own capability to win on demand for sure.
I think he was,
Uh,
on the other hand, very sure of holding with black. He has such fantastic preparation, and he had probably revised his lines ahead of time. So he was very confident of actually remembering his preparation and equalizing comfortably with black. And that's why he put all his eggs into that basket.
yeah, and also there might be a bit of a pre-information bias, if that's even a thing, that for years together in Armageddon, Black always was known to have an advantage in the 5 versus 4 time control. It's so much easier to hold with Black in the 5 versus 4 time control with no increment. At least this used to be the conventional wisdom, at least till 10 years ago. And now we are seeing some changes in how the Armageddon is played out. But the information that Vishy had in his mind from the past, it still stays. It doesn't go away just because there's a new concept in Armageddon. And whether we are aware of these things or not, but the information we have, we use these things to make decisions on the present moment.
Yeah, very good point
So,
there by Srinath. Also, the position on the board itself has changed after the exchange of the C and A pawns, because now, if black manages to also exchange the B pawn for the A pawn, then black has absolutely no problem in this position. And even in the present position, white does not have a concrete plan, right? You can't enter now, even after king e7, you can't enter rook d7. And even earlier, after rook d7, black always had rook c7 on the board. So, yeah, this should be totally fine for black.
yeah, and Black doesn't really need to do anything. Yeah, he can just sit and wait for White to do something because
Hmm.
not so easy for White to make progress either. As we mentioned earlier, you can't put this pawn on e4 because of the dark squares getting weakened. So by default, Paravian just puts his pawns on the dark squares. So it doesn't allow the black knight access to the dark squares, and it also complements well with the bishop, which is a light square bishop. And on the other hand, what it does is it makes it impossible to achieve a pawn break. It makes it impossible to create a passed pawn. This formation with h4, f4, e3, white can never create a passed pawn because of this anymore. So white's strengths are equaled by black's strengths as well. And Arjun is completely holding this position because of that.
Paravian creating some chances, right? I mean, he is trying to create a passer out of the h pawn. I think that's his plan. He wants to play e4 next, and then perhaps f5 as well. So
Yeah, but the
e4.
moment he starts playing e4, that could potentially allow black to create some counter chances whenever he wants to do it. Like,
Uh-huh.
just coming back knight e6, attacking the f4 pawn, the rook coming to c3, the knight going to d4. So this is a bit of a double-edged sword for white. He goes for
But I
e4
don't see
and
how. I mean, let's say knight e6, f5, because your rook is stuck on c7. Let's not forget that. The a7 pawn
yeah,
needs
and
protection.
now knight d4.
Yeah, and now I was wondering if just we can play a calm move, like let's say rook a2. But then you play rook c.
Yeah, rook a2, rook c2.
Ah,
Uh, I mean, it might not necessarily be bad for white, but it can risk getting into that territory. It's uh, it's no longer white, only white playing. Like black is just two moves away from getting a strategical superiority, and white has to be a bit careful here. Arjun, in fact, goes for f5. He just fixes the pawn, and I guess he just doesn't mind the h pawn being an outside passer. The rook keeps an eye on it, and on the other side, he's creating a few weaknesses of White's own. And Paravian just goes back bishop f3. So this is a live position that we have. And once again, I do expect to see knight e6, but let's see what Arjun does.
can't we play f into e4, bishop e4, rook c4 in this position?
Indeed, indeed. Uh, this is also possible. Black loses probably the g6 pawn and the a7 pawn, but in return gets b4, f4, and finally it goes into a draw. In fact, is this what? No. But Arjun is still thinking, and you're completely right, Soumya. Fe Rook C4 would have been a very strong continuation, but it also liquidated the game immediately towards a draw. And I have a feeling that maybe Arjun wants to keep the game going.
Yeah, we did discuss this. That could be his strategy. So, but I just don't understand like what are the chances of white going wrong in this position? Because the problem is rook a7 always comes with a check. So, for example, rook c3, knight d4 is an idea. Oh, so he starts with knight
It starts
d4.
with Yeah, he starts with 94, and David only has like 20 seconds, which is also an exciting prospect for Arjun. And if the rooks get traded, for example, a situation like this, which doesn't work now because in the end White takes the pawn on g6. But if Arjun is able to, let's say, defend the g6 pawn first and get a combination like this, then Black is potentially in the business, because the knight on dark squares will be superior to the bishop, which can only control the light squares here. So he takes, goes king f6, and he just keeps that pressure. Rook c4, knight, a potential rook c4 incoming. Yeah, now rook c4, go for it. Rook into b4 is already a threat. Knight e2 check is also coming, and the game is turning around.
Right? I mean, Arjun in the driver's seat right now. Rook a3. What? Knight
Knight
b5 doesn't
b5.
work? Yeah,
It
knight
works.
b5.
It works.
Rook
And
e3,
he
rook
takes the pawn.
c4. And a5, a4, a3, a2, a1. That's our plan, guys. What are you doing to stop it?
And now knight d4 back. Game over. Game over, Soumya. Rook b3 is
Knight
winning, I think.
f5.
I'm not sure if he has to go for this, but yeah, he's gone for it because his a pawn is just too fast and the white king is too far away.
Wow, Arjun, so calm and so controlled. You can't understand anything from his expression. It's the same for the past 20 moves, but he's got the game in complete control right now.
Yeah, he's
It's
just got the
business
game
as
in complete
usual for him,
control.
I guess.
This
That's
pawn will
why.
go to a3 and this pawn will come to b3. It's all coming by force. Bishop c4, b5, pawn to b4, and then this pawn to b3. And then this king will start taking these pawns. b3 and
Exactly.
b2 or b3 and a2? Or just some knight e6 check here, I think.
B3 is clean, no? B3, king c3, uh, B2. I think that would be very clean.
Oh, I see win. Sorry. A2, king A2, knight A4 check, king A1, B2 check, king A2, knight C3 check, and this wins by force. But Arjun has gone for something different. He starts with knight A6 check, king E3, perhaps to repeat once, knight C5, king D4, and he can take this win anytime he wants. But there are other wins too. And this doesn't require much. Oh, yeah. This doesn't require any calculation. He just takes the pawns, takes all the pawns. King into h4, and then king g3 and knight into f4 too.
Yeah, the cleanest win. He found the cleanest win of them all. Wow,
Yeah, he takes
that's
the f4 pawn first, and then knight g2, knight h4. Merciless Arjun. But you have to still be careful. King d4, king c4, king into. I mean, it's just completely winning no matter what. Even if you lose these two pawns as black, this pawn comes to g4, knight to f3, and then it goes to g2.
okay, but good fight by David for sure. I mean, you're winning the b4 and a3 pawns now, and g4
Yeah,
here is possible. King a3, g4. Uh, okay, g4 anyway. Okay,
yeah. This
fine.
bishop comes to. I guess he will. Yeah, if it defends from h3, then this knight will kick it away from g5, which is what is going to happen in the game.
Yeah,
And if it defends from d5, then there's knight f3. Now this
right,
knight just goes to g. Yeah, f4 also works.
right. And there is the king
And that's
far away.
2-0 for Arjun. Arjun OP in the chat, guys. He's leading with 2-0. Just requires a draw in the next two rounds. And uh, I have to. He's doing it so fast. And today I'm not even hungry, unlike the Nihal match. They're just doing the reverse of how it
Arjun is
should be.
playing exactly like his namesake from Mahabharata, not giving his opponents any chance and not giving them any mercy, just doing his duty without thinking about who is in front of him. Fantastic gameplay by Arjun. Both the games, he was so calm and collected and just handled it like a pro. Business as usual for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, the match between Raja and Hou Yifan update that the second game has ended in a draw. Chat, come on, let's get those likes going. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Look at how amazing Arjun has been playing, and let's get more people in
And
and more people to enjoy Arjun's seamless play.
And we also have Yifan on the webcam right now, and she's laughing away about something. Maybe she missed something on in her game. What was it?
No, no,
Don't know.
she's seeing her phone.
No, but she was looking at the screen for some time and just laughing away, having a really good time. What happened to her game? I think
Certainly
they
not our stream. Yeah.
made. um. Yifan and Temur made a draw, right, in the second
Yeah,
game
they
of
made a
the.
draw. Yep.
And Arjun is leading 2-0 against David. Nice.
Yeah, Arjun is leading 2-0. Arjun's crushing it. He's gone at a different level. It's amazing what self belief can do to you, a person. That one change of self belief,
When
and
do you
you're
think
suddenly a
this
different
happened?
person.
Like, when do you think that change happened? Because I remember you speaking about him being right there with all the other Indian prodigies, but not there in right there in terms of strength, but not there in terms of rating or performance. Um, Back in 2020, I remember you mentioned that. And when do you think that change happened in him, and why do you think that happened?
I think one of the important events was the June CCT in 2021, where
Hmm.
he played against some of the best players in the world. And even before that, he had some informal training games with Vishy. Even before he was into the Westbridge Anand Academy, and he actually scored pretty well against Vishy during those training games. I think that was also one of the things that gave him a lot of self confidence and belief that he could do it against a person of that level, that caliber, someone who's at the elite, a former world champion. Even though it was just training games, but I think it showed him that evidence to himself that was apparent to others from outside. And then, of course, he played against some of the best players in the world, and he was holding his own without any problems. He had an epic match against Aronian, which he fought on equal terms, although he lost in the tiebreaker. I think that was a beginning point. And then he played in the Tata Steel later that year, where he just won the Rapid Championship by a big margin. And when the invitations were out for the Tata Steel Rapid, initially Arjun was not even invited to the Blitz. It uh, came in a serendipitous moment that AD fell sick during the Rapid. He just couldn't play. He barely was able to turn up to the games. So, but he couldn't withdraw from the Rapid as it was a closed event and it would affect the tournament. So AD gritted through and played that, but he couldn't play the Blitz. And Arjun was right there, a ready-made replacement for the Blitz, and that's how he got into the Blitz event itself of Tata Steel. But yeah, I think those are some of the events that showed him evidence, direct evidence that he can play and hold his own against the best in the world. And then the next moment came in the Tata Steel Challenges in Vacancy when the world champion Magnus Carlsen had very warm words of praise for Arjun. He was like, Arjun is so underrated and he should be about 2,700 in no time. And Arjun was like, oh, okay, so maybe I can do it. Magnus thinks so. Until before that, he was like, I'm not so sure.
How sweet. Actually, this is also nice to hear, and It's very true. Sometimes you're working hard, but if you don't get evidence in the form of, let's say, results or encouragement from your seniors or, praise from your heroes, it sort of makes you doubt yourself a lot. And that becomes the cause of your stagnancy or your downfall, actually. So it's all psychological. And the minute you get this boost, the minute you sort of start realizing, you're made to realize, in fact, by your results, by your peers, by your seniors, that you are worth it, you automatically start to prove that you're worth it. So it's very, very psychological. And yeah, it's amazing that things turned around so well and so beautifully for Arjun.
Absolutely. I would say, your self belief is a bit like it's like you're a light. Let's say some object is projecting you, and your self belief is how far that light can go. And if your actual capabilities until this point, but your self belief is only till this point, then even when you go a bit farther, you start doubting yourself. Is this really me? Is this really happening? No, no, I shouldn't be here. I should be here. And that reflects on our activity, our behavior, and really pulls us back. But if someone has this level of self belief and their potential is, even if it's a bit low, I think it really helps to improve themselves and go farther. So I think it's always a bit better to be overconfident than to be a bit underconfident or underrate yourself. It's I think it's an asset how much you believe in yourself and that confidence.
Yeah, definitely, definitely true. Um, I see Yifan and Temur on the screen right now. I think Arjun and David are also ready to start their matches. Um, I wonder what's happening. Probably they're just setting things up.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a break going on because Arjun is AFK right now, and his opponent is probably just checking, browsing stuff all around the World Wide Web. Maybe he's just checking football scores, or who knows. But yeah. Meanwhile, we had some fireworks in the previous game of Raja's match, Soumya. Here he actually took bishop into f2 check.
Wow. I actually saw this position with the knight to h5 and then switched to Arjun's game. Bishop f2 is amazing. What? King
Yeah, the
f2, queen
king f2, queen
c5.
c5 check.
Nice, that's the point. And queen f2 would, of course, run into bishop c4 and you drop a piece over there. And actually, you just win the pawn basically on f2. So either way, black won a pawn, right? No, after queen c5, white still has knight e3 covering the
Yeah,
bishop e4.
yes, that was the fireworks part. He wasn't simply winning a pawn, but he black had this defense, but Raja continued on with knight f4,
Knight
chasing the queen away. Queen to f1, knight d3 check, takes, queen g1, bishop into e4. And at the end of this, he has won 2 pawns, but he has also completely disrupted white's coordination.
This is gorgeous. I mean, look at the king and the queen. They're placed in totally opposite.
Interchanged.
Yeah, they should have been on g1 and f2 the way they are, but the queen being on f2 and the king on g1.
Yeah, and
Looks
but
like some
Hou
kid came
Yifan,
and changed the position of the pieces, while no one was looking. It actually seems like that.
but Hou Yifan being the strong player that she is, she immediately defended with king g3, f5 with the threat of f4 check, and now she just bailed out with knight into f5 and knight into h6 check, g into h6, knight into g1, and equalized. So the story of this game, not just a peaceful draw. They fought ferociously. Raja created fireworks with bishop into f2. Hou Yifan stood up to it and defended with equal aplomb, and they drew 41 moves later. It was a pretty long and drawn out endgame, but not a lot of fireworks from here onwards. But Raja just kept trying and trying and trying. But the opposite color bishop and white's solidity it just contributed towards making it a draw.
22 King of Himalayas, why are you not showing Indian players? Arey, we are showing Baba. They are on a break. So we are taking cameras of other players and also having a look at what they are doing. Shanti, Shanti.
Yeah, they are on a break. Arjun
Um,
looks ready for his next game, though, from the looks of it. And he seems ready to get started. Has a 2-0 lead, needs just to make a draw in the next two games, and he'll have the white pieces in the next game. So that will also add to his numerous list of advantages.
yeah, definitely. And tomorrow we have the last round for the Indians in round one. We have Vidit Gujarati taking on Sarana and Mitrabag Duha taking on Jan Christoph Duda. So, two amazing matches to look out for tomorrow. I'm really excited because there is a chance that there'll be five Indians in round two, with Nihal and Ronak already going in. Arjun likely to go in, even if he makes a draw in this third game, he is through. And Vidit and Mitraba having a chance to qualify tomorrow. What do you
Absolutely,
think?
and it will be pretty exciting to see Vidit in action, Soumya, because you can actually see some obvious changes in his approach towards chess in general. It seems like he's always almost reinventing himself and turning the clock back a few years. We were talking about Vidit 2.0 a few days ago. I think Vidit also made some kind of a social media post about something similar, and that's one matchup I'm highly looking forward to. And also, Vidit just comes off with a very convincing finish in the title Tuesday, where he defeated Jeffrey Chong, the winner of the title Tuesday, in the last round, and finished in the third place. Second place or third place? Second place. He finished in the second place.
What do you mean by Vidit 2.0? What do you think exactly has changed?
So many things has changed. For one, he has pretty much taken a pause on streaming, on logging, and second, also the nature of his openings. I think he's more prone to taking risks in these recent times. He started quite a few games with one e4 knight c6, not with any admirable results. Do not try this at home or school or on your computer or phone. Don't play e4 knight c6, but he's been willing to get out of his comfort zone and trying new things. It has been a bit up and down till now, but you can see that he's really willing and attempting to make changes. And also in terms of his tournament selection, he really wants to play in these online events. He participated a lot in the Rapid Chess Championship. He has improved a lot in his online speed chess play. He also took part in the recent Indian Chess Tour tournament, where you would not usually expect someone like Vidit playing, but he was ready to go fight there, and he had a few good games, a few bad games, but it's in process. I would say, I feel that some Vidit 2.0, it's still in alpha test phase. We'll have the beta test and the full version ready in a few months.
Wow, nice. Definitely looking forward to that. Also, want to add that I think Vidit is one of the most disciplined players, disciplined people you can meet. And sometimes it's not too obvious from his results as to how much effort he puts into his chess. I mean, it's not only about his chess. Like I was talking to one of the seconds of the team, uh, and he mentioned that Vidit is on another level compared to anyone else he has ever worked with when it comes to preparation, when it comes to finding material to work on. He's so up to date. And also in terms of, his mindset psychology, he does a lot of work on that. He does a lot of work on gymming. Like he didn't miss even one day of gym while we were in the training camp. He's extremely disciplined. No matter what is his schedule, he puts in the hours. And sometimes it doesn't show, it takes time, yeah, to get those results coming in, but I'm sure it's going to come one day.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. But I'm excited and looking forward to seeing that happen as soon as possible. And who knows, it might just be in the chess.com global championship. With its performances in the chess.com events, has always been quite decent, quite good actually. He's been a regular in the rapid chess championship knockouts, playing some memorable matchups against Hikaru, in which quite often he was just completely winning, and the time would play the villain in those games. And also, he's done pretty well in the different title Tuesdays that he's played off stream. So I'm really looking forward to him performing well in the Global Chess Championship as well.
Yeah, I think we can
This could be
end this discussion with a very nice comment from Sanket Joshi, who says Kohli back in form, and now we also want to see VD back in form. Very nicely put there.
absolutely.
So we have Temur versus Yifan on the screen over here, and it's 1-1 so far into their match. So both of them have a chance. I mean, there are two more games to go. F5 played. This is actually the same opening as their first game, no?
Uh, kind of, but
Similar.
I think not. Yeah, the same opening, but I think there is some differences in how the position has come into the middle game, no?
Hmm.
And this version seems to be a bit better for white comparatively.
F5 is I mean, F5 was unprovoked. I wonder if it's useful or not.
Yeah.
Some interesting chat going on there side by side. F5. Now, whenever an opponent plays F5, I'm always tempted to play H4. And just control this G5 square and keep this option of H5 at some point.
Right. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. It does. F5 weakens the G5 square and also the G6 pawn. So H4 and H5 would certainly be strategically very useful for white to achieve in this position. And black has this Dutch-like structure with pawns on F5, E6, and G6, which gains some space, but I think it creates more weakness than the space which it gains. And I can imagine that Raja will be looking to try and win this game. It will be an important game for him in this match because it will be his last white pieces in the match. After which it goes to the after which he has the black in the last game of the regulation match. And the Armageddon, there is always a factor of randomness in it. So it's always nicer to try and finish it in the first four games.
So let's ask the second question of the day, third question of the day for the Diamond membership. What do you think, chat? ये गेम में क्या होगा? तैमूर जीतेंगे, यीफान जीतेंगे, या ड्रॉ हो जाएगा और हमें फोर्थ गेम तक इंतजार करना पड़ेगा एक डिसाइसिव रिजल्ट का? Type in your answers and we will see if you got your predictions right for this game.
Right. And meanwhile, Soumya, I have a question for you. How would you rank these five Indian juniors, Gukesh, Arjun, Nihal, Prag, and Raunak, from your perspective?
Oh my God. Oh my God. So we have the game here already. The game has been with Arjun and David, and I'm just wondering if I should take up this question right now or not. Anyway, I'll just be completely honest. Right now my favorite player in general, not even in juniors, not even in seniors, not even in online classical, ऐसा कोई segregation नहीं है. पूरा totality में my favorite chess player in the chess world right now is Gukesh. So I am in completely in awe of his performance in the Olympiad, and I just love the fact that he's so confident and he believes in himself so much. And his training method has been so unusual to have never worked with an engine despite the pressure. I mean, there is so much pressure on you, there is so much competition around. Everybody around you is working with an engine. Every time you meet someone and tell them you don't know what stockfish is, they are like, what, you don't know what stockfish is, you don't know how to use an engine, as if you're making like the biggest mistake of your life. And to continue believing in your methods despite that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to remain uninfluenced in this world, I feel. And he's been able to do that. So I'm totally in awe of him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fair answer. Meanwhile, Soumya, do you think David has already kind of given up in this match? Because in a must-win situation with the black pieces, he started with the Petrov.
I wouldn't say that because, see, as we discussed, Arjun is always constantly playing for a win, right? So he probably just believes in Arjun's attitude that he is going to create chances for himself, even in a game where a draw would be enough, and he's going to try and take advantage of that. I think that's his approach in this game right now.
Yeah, but I think Arjun would be totally happy to
Acha.
finish this match off, regardless.
He's very
Two and a half
practical.
half or 3-0.
He's very practical. Yeah, he doesn't get swayed away by emotions, I guess. Chalo, 3-0 जीत जाते हैं. ऐसा नहीं
I
आएगा
mean,
उसमें.
he can get swayed away by emotion, but in this particular instance, I'm pretty sure 3-0 wasn't the aim. And I mean, he has tournaments to play. He has a very he has an insane schedule, by the way. It's filled up, I think, all the way up to the end of November, and even December. Like, and then people see that there is this little gap in the calendar, and they invite him to another tournament. And Arjun keeps saying yes to all the invitations he gets from the tournament organizers. So he has this insane schedule. So I think he wouldn't mind reserving some energy and finishing off the match in 3 games if he can.
Nice. So F3 on the board, knight C5, C into D5.
I don't know what this opening is though, because knight into E5 now. And how did, like, it's certainly not opening preparation. This much we can, I think, be sure. Now he wants bishop h7 and queen c2. No, knight d3. b4?
We still have B4.
And queen f6, I think.
Queen F6. And you don't have bishop B2 anymore to defend the rook. And if you play knight C3 now, then knight into B4. And the knight on C5 is no more attacked.
No, this is pinned.
Ah.
But just queen d4 and queen b4 potentially.
Acha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
No, but David takes on d3 first. Queen d3, knight b4. We are going into an opposite color bishop endgame with rooks on, but still.
Very strange. Yeah, I would have definitely played knight d5 in that position if I was in a must-win situation, especially. And I mean, it's not so tough to see. I mean, I'm sure he saw bishop h7, king h7, queen c2, knight d3, right? It's the most obvious.
Yeah, but I think there was something else there, cd knight e5, because the evolution bar did go up a bit. Maybe just come back bishop c2 and you have two bishops.
Bishop c2.
Yeah. Just take the mouse away from me if you're playing a game. That's what is the moral of the story. Stop listening to my moves also.
Knight d4 on the board. And let's say we play queen c4, then black can take knight d5, rook d1, and black always has c6 at least. So that's really fine.
Arjun will look to trade pieces as much as he can. Yeah, rook d1, c6, knight c3.
Arjun looks very tired, no? I mean, you keep mentioning his schedule, and I just had a look at him in the camera, and he just looks exhausted.
Tired or bored?
Tired or bored is the question. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, seems more like bored that he didn't really have to exert himself. First game he won pretty much on prep, half of it. Second game he played a decent game, but his opponent kind of collapsed towards the end. And it's been an OP performance by Arjun because he's literally overpowered his opponent. Both Raunak was OP. Literally, I understand what the word means now. They just overpower their opponents and therefore they are OP. Raunak OP, Arjun OP, and after so many years of YouTube, now I understand why. It's a funny thing, This title Tuesday, it co- it comes in the games that we see on chess base, and in the tournaments, it will be written as open, but open will not come fully. So when you see the screen, it will come as title Tuesday OP. And Nihal used to ask me innocently, like, why is title Tuesday OP? Why is it written title Tuesday OP?
That's so cute.
Title Tuesday OP.
Nihal is very innocent. I
Yeah.
can imagine him asking these questions. There is a question for you in the chat by two people, Abhinav Gupta and Kapil Chaudhary and Ekam. I'm like Ekdam क्या नाम है? Ekam Deol. Please tell us Arjun's next tournaments. What
Arjun
are
is he's playing in the Generations Cup in a couple of days. That starts on 18th. There'll be Arjun in action, Prag in action, and also some legends of the game, Vasil Ivanchuk. I think Boris Gelfand also, and lot of other exciting players. So that is Arjun's next match, where in the round one he faces Magnus Carlsen, and after that he will play in the round two of the Global Chess Championship. That is round of 32. It's round of 64 now. Round of 32, he will, if he wins. Okay, I'm going a bit overboard, but he's 2-0 up. So I do expect him to win this match. And if he does, he will play in the round of 32 in the Global Championship against the winner of the match between Raja and Hou Yifan. Uh, and post that, he has the European Club Cup that starts on October 3 to 9. That will be a 7-round event. So he goes there, and I think those are the immediate tournaments which have been confirmed, which is known out there. And then there are a bunch of tournaments that is still not out in the open right now. So if you want to know about that, stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and catch the chess this week.
That's an hilarious promotion. Uh, yes, guys, do subscribe to Sheena's channel. There is a very important question in the chat for you, which must be answered. Barinder Sran asks, "Are you married, Sheena?"
Soumya, that is already answered in the chat. और वो इतना भी important question नहीं है.
ये बहुत ही important question है मेरे हिसाब से. मतलब क्यों उन्होंने ये सवाल पूछा होगा is very very important. मुझे उनको रिवर्स सवाल है कि आपने ये क्वेश्चन क्यों पूछा.
अरे इट इंडिया में टाइम पास के लिए पूछता है लोग, आर यू मैरिड. वो नॉर्मल कॉन्वर्सेशन स्टार्टर है, वो चाय पे पूछता है, एंड ही प्रॉब्ली सॉ मी ड्रिंकिंग टी, सो इसलिए.
चाय किसने बनाई फिर, और आपको खाना बनाना आता है, और आपके कितने बच्चे हो गए? अच्छा नहीं हुए, फिर कब होने वाले? क्या प्लान है आपका लाइफ में? कहा yeah, I do.
Exactly.
Interesting.
But I'm not married yet.
Srinath is
And
not
no
married
immediate
yet.
plans also. So don't get your hopes high, whoever is watching and interested in the question, in case my mom is watching.
So Queen C5 coming in by David, and Arjun is not at all like uncomfortable with his queen being on B7, because there is like I mean I would be a little worried about it ना. अभी knight b4 knight c2 करके कुछ मतलब tactic आ गया तो like queen c5 king h1 rook d8 queen a6 knight b4 and knight c2 and your rook is suddenly trapped.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Why did I play a3? Yeah. Example variation.
हाँ a3 तो मतलब very मतलब पूरा point ही चला गया. तो इसलिए a3 वो खेलेंगे so that ये सब tactic आएगा.
Knight c3 played by Arjun. Yeah, no, but I think David has created some complexities in this game, and he has not. I mean, he's created some complexities, and for the first time ever in the match, he has more time than Arjun.
Yeah, he does.
So,
And actually, White is lagging behind in development. So even though he has won that b7 pawn, he's yet to complete his development, and his king is not as safe as it looks. Like the g1 a7 diagonal has been weakened. हमको सिखाया जाता है मतलब चेस में कि अगर हमारे किंग के सामने 3 पॉन्स है वो फोर्ट्रेस होते हैं और आपको एस्केप स्क्वायर बनाना है तो आइडियली h3 खेल के बनाना. और अगर h3 खेल के आपका एस्केप स्क्वायर नहीं बन रहा है बिकॉज देयर इज अ बिशप ऑन d6 व्हिच कंट्रोल्स h2, यू प्ले g3 and f3 is the last option you go for while making an escape square king, because it severely weakens your king. The good part here is that black doesn't have a dark squared bishop. Wow, wonderful pointed out by our producer here. Can we just...
What was pointed out?
That at some point there could be a tactic like you give up the d5 knight and then you play d8 and have a back rank checkmate.
Acha, like how? Like, can we go have a look at the example variation?
For example, instead of knight c3, अगर हम rook d5 खेलेंगे, तो can we already play rook d8? Can we already play rook d8?
It's here. No, it's not here. It's not here.
Sorry?
No, it's not here. Knight on c3 is protecting the d1 square. It's here.
हाँ, यहाँ पे rook d5 and he suggested rook d8 here.
Yeah, I think it's here. It's probably here.
But you can also
rook
play
d5,
bishop
rook d8.
हाँ.
This is a brilliant. I haven't done a lot of smileys in this broadcast so far, but this one certainly deserves it.
Yeah, the idea is that if you take rook d8, we have queen c5 check.
Oops. Okay, sorry.
Intermezzo, queen c5 check, and king moves and queen into c1. So this is a brilliant point.
Yeah, queen c5 check is the point.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Very pretty tactic, which was not allowed by Arjun. He played knight c3, defending the d1 square for the future and also developing some pieces. c1 bishop is also defended now. So lesser things to worry about now. I think David played rook a b8 here. And
no, he started with queen c5.
Yeah, he first gave a check on c5, king h1, and rook a b8, queen a6 is the position we have on the board. And finally,
and some more moves here. He took on c3, b takes c3, queen takes c3, and bishop d2 played by Arjun. This is the live position. Which is going towards a draw, I think.
Yeah, I don't like knight c3, but was there a better move there? Or no? I mean, I would have really thought at the point of taking knight c3 rather than here.
Yeah, true. But also, I don't think there were a lot of choices other than to go knight c3. I mean, you can interject a move like rook b6, but eventually it feels like you have to take knight c3. So we are in this position, and thinking about it, maybe David Paramian wanted to avoid some kind of a forced draw in these openings. I don't know. I don't know what his motivation was behind the Petrov, but after 20 moves, we are kind of in a situation where it is going into a very solid endgame, a very solid and drawish endgame.
Yes. Lily asks Srinath and Soumya ma'am. Lily is such a nice name if it's a real name. It's a very nice name. Lily Potter, Harry's mom.
Hmm,
General Lily is such a nice flower. So she asks,
true.
do you guys think now 2600s, 2500s will start to get intimidated by Arjun or say Gukesh, like how these kids used to feel a year or two ago playing Nepo or Carlson?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they certainly do.
yeah, I mean, they're 100%. 100%. There's so much respect for all of these kids now. Like every player respects them and every player knows that they work really hard constantly. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and there was already this instance, when France played against India in the Olympiad, and Arjun's opponent with the white pieces, he was immediately happy to take a draw out of the opening, and that was a kind of new realization that okay, so these grandmasters, they are quite happy to make a draw even with the white pieces against someone like Arjun, and he had to be conscious of that when preparing, to be mindful of the forced draws that white can take during the opening. So it they certainly do, but so far these kids, the juniors, Ali Reza, Arjun, Gukesh, they have been very skillful at managing to find ways to create a fight with either colors. There was this, I remember this interview where Anish mentions how Ali Reza has taken draw out of the game. So he wins against all the lower rated players and he loses against people like Magnus and Fabi. But I thought it made a lot of sense because if you look at how Magnus grew up back in time, he also lost a lot of games initially against Vishy and Kramnik and people from the previous generation. But he didn't mind that. He didn't start playing for a draw against them. And over a period of time, he started beating these players. He won the world championship match against uh, Vishy in 2013 and 2014. But before the match, Vishy had, I think, a score of 6 wins and 1 loss against Magnus. So Magnus lost a lot initially, but all those investments and losses paid off.
Nice. Coming back to the position, Arjun looks extremely bored and Paravan looks extremely frustrated. But can Black create some problems for White? Maybe Rook B, D8 comes to mind right now with a sweet tactic like Rook B1 would be met with Rook D2. Um, no, I'm no. Rook F D8 would be a blunder because Rook D2 Queen into B8.
How?
No,
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah, and also Rook A B1
Ah,
itself is a
so
blunder because B1 is hanging.
right, Rook B D8. Yeah, I got
But
it.
I wanted to go Rook B D8 because I don't know why. Maybe Rook B D8 is not that good. Rook F D8 is a better move, I guess.
I don't know.
I
Both look
just
pretty solid to me.
Yeah, I just thought maybe that B8 rook will be hanging in some lines after the one pair of rook gets exchanged. But yeah, probably no.
Right. Like for example, in a situation like this, it's not easy to move the queen away because the b8 rook is hanging, and queen b8 is also coming next. So white would kind of secure a draw after rook f d8. If and rook b d8, it's not so easy to do the same thing.
Google, I won't use my full name. Interesting full name, whatever this name is. And ask me, do you No, you use the term responsible move. What does that mean? Responsible move matlab with it has consequences, whenever a move has consequences, it's a very responsible move to take because you need to be also ready to face the consequences. So if you're giving a pawn sack or making a pawn move, pawn moves are very committal. You can't take them back. You're making a pawn structure change. All of these are responsible moves, and especially when it's a sacrifice, I would call it a very, very responsible move because you can't go back. You have to be sure of those your decision, and you have to face whatever happens next. Like, be ready to face it. So that's what I meant by responsible.
So responsibility is something where I think the word you're looking for is committal, no?
No, not committal. Committal though, you can uncommit yourself anytime. I
Depends on the
mean,
commitment, I think.
I don't mean committal. Committal is like a pawn move actually because you can't go back. But
Yeah,
responsible is when you have consequences. Like serious, it
got it.
definitely has consequences. ऐसा
Yeah,
नहीं है
you
कि
see, for me, the thing is commitment also has consequences, so I kind of synonymized that way. I mean, in general, I'm saying.
okay, fine. Uh, Hopefully, no important people are watching this stream. No important people from Srinath's life are watching this stream. Bishop C3 is a move that really comes to my mind right now. I want to play it and make it
But
work.
Arjun goes for queen to c3.
Peaceful chess.
Yeah, trade queens, exchange pieces, make draw, go home, order dinner, or see what mom has cooked. Arjun, when his mom calls from when he's on tours, he always answers in a very nice and polite tone. It's like, "Hello, Amma," and then whatever she says. No, this one he's just making draw. So I think it's time to start thinking about dinner for Arjun.
Time to start thinking about what am I going to do with those 8 lakhs that I'm going to win once I go to round two.
Soumya has been winning so much that I'm not even sure if he will notice the 8 lakhs win for this round. Today only he told me that he forgot to claim the prize money of some tournament in June. It's like, oh, I forgot about it completely.
That's
But
a
on a more
that's
serious
for
note,
sure.
it's not that he doesn't care about money. It's just that his big motivation is to just keep winning games. He has a
Yeah,
more purer motivation that way than someone older, I would say.
yeah, because that someone older is paying for the training sessions and not him. And once he starts paying for them, also start valuing it more. Queen B2 on the board. Yeah, I think this is going to just be a draw. Bishop E6 might be played. I mean, it's a forced trade, queen trade, and there's literally nothing that black can play for in this position. David has this
Yeah,
smile on his face, like he knows it कि हाँ ठीक है खत्म होने वाला है match. चलो ठीक है.
yeah, yeah. I think he's kind of resigned himself to that inevitable conclusion. But
Fate.
he has played Bishop E6. But I didn't really see David like charging in for this game today. He
हाँ.
was kind of just playing his usual chess. Didn't even feel like a must-win game. Felt more like game one. His gameplay.
This one. Which one?
Yeah, the way David has played this game,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like a must-win game. Felt more like the kind of game someone would play in on game one.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much influence opening has, na, on what you want to achieve over the board. Like your opening
Yeah,
pawn structure, it makes such a big difference as to what could be your possibilities in the middle game.
Absolutely, opening plays a massive role. The position you get, bishop b3. What happens? Just rook b1. Yeah, no, rook b1, bishop into d1 is the bishop c3 or to play.
Bishop c3 and bishop d1, bishop b2. Equal, equal, equal. Draw,
Yeah,
draw, draw. Nice. Do you
true,
want to have a look at
absolutely.
what Temur is doing against Yifan? And we can come back to this game? Or do you think it's
Sure.
going to draw anytime soon?
Yeah, that's what I was worried about, the winning moment for the round if the game suddenly ends. But we can have
Mm-hmm.
a quick 15-second look and get back.
Huh. Huh.
So this is the position in the game right now between Temur and Hou Yifan. It's a thrilling game, thrilling
Huh.
position, and I'm not sure who is going to go through this match. Raja was a huge favorite, an elite player, and a massive rating favorite, but Hou Yifan has done spectacularly well, and yeah, knight
Raja
e3
is
check.
white in this game, right?
Yeah, he's white. He's losing.
He's completely lost over here. Yeah, Yifan getting in
And
the required
queen
win.
f5.
Yeah.
A lot of pawns though. So queen
Oh,
b8. She's blended the
yes.
rook,
What? Oh
and
my God.
he's won
Crazy.
this. He's won this.
Oh my
Queen e5 check. Wow, that just turned around so fast. In the blink of an eye, she was completely winning, and then she just
God. Both
smiles
are
like a
laughing.
true champion, though.
They both are laughing. They can't believe what has just happened over the.
Unbelievable. Such a crunch game, and Raja winning that one, having the better nurse. Meanwhile, we are back to the Arjun game. David is running his time out. What is he doing?
He
He was
also
down to
doesn't
three
know where the
seconds.
resign button is. He also doesn't know where the resign button is because even in the previous game, he wanted to resign and he was looking around, like what's happened?
Things are transitioning from chess.com/live to chess.com/play. But meanwhile, this endgame still, I think, a few things to take care of for white. No, the king is not coming into the game. It's 3 versus 3. It's dead draw, but you don't want to lose one of your pawns by mistake. And Arjun should be in the white. Arjun is white, and David is black. Yeah. So David is the one with 3 seconds. Arjun with 3 minutes. And I wonder what's on Arjun's mind. Is he thinking about how to draw here, or is he already thinking about the biryani that he might have for dinner?
No idea what he's thinking about. Rook c4, rook e2, f4. I mean, you just can't blunder in this position. That's the.
Yeah, my brain is like challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. King f1.
King f1 and rook
No, he
c7
just
and
doesn't allow the king.
he wants to
Yeah,
get e6 check also and then king e7, rook a6 maybe. You can play rook a6 here.
rook a6, rook e4, then rook f6. Yeah.
Or even rook a7, no?
Yeah, rook a7
a7, king
also.
e6, rook a6, king f5, rook f6 we always have and checkmate. So
Yeah, but this is not what is happening in the game, unfortunately. Instead, Arjun is just playing rook c4, rook d4. He's just maintaining here. And now David will try to break with g5, but he's just really trying to bring in some excitement to this game by going down to 4 seconds.
So he's going to hide his king to g7, but even there you have rook b8, king g7, rook b7. Oh, but then you
Yeah,
blunder the f pawn, rook a4. That's how you blunder.
yeah, true. I think no, he'll just keep it on the fourth rank for now. Fourth rank defense.
Yeah. Even that position, yeah, rook a4, we have f5, and after gf, we have e6. So it's just,
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. He just goes e6, rook into f4. I think he will be happy to hold this. ef7, rook f7, and 1 versus 2. Even the pawn endgame might be a draw. But I mean, yeah, but rook endgame, it's simpler, much simpler.
yeah,
This is just dead draw. Are
yeah,
they even repeating indirectly? No, Paravian will play on for a while. But okay, king g3, h4, just sit, make draw.
yeah.
And yeah,
So now rook
I
a7
think we are
check.
closing in on that moment.
Yeah, rook a7 check is unnecessary because king f6 and then the king comes to f5. So you just keep the king cut off and you keep your rook on the sixth rank, keep the h pawn protected.
Yeah,
So he's managed to bring king to f6 now after rook e6. He can play rook h7, no? He can even force h5. But it's risky to play rook. You can't take rook h6 ever. So there's
yeah,
no
this is the
need
kind
to,
of title Tuesday loss you can have. So
yeah, there's no need to play that.
yeah,
Rook d4 and you keep the rook on fourth rank now and keep the king also on fourth rank. So then there's no entry point.
yeah, I think you just sit and wait, sit tight, wait. And if you're bored, you can just take your phone and do Puzzle Rush. This is what I was telling someone today, that you can also do these things on your phone when you're waiting for appointment or at a doctor's place. But Arjun wouldn't make us wait too long. He has played Rook H8 and he was almost taking this pawn.
He plays king h3, not king g3.
Back to King G4.
Yeah, I mean, h5 and king f4 we have. So it's okay.
Yeah, he prefers to wait on G2. Now King G3. What a difference in Arjun's play when a draw was sufficient. Yeah, he didn't even need to exert himself. That's also the difference when you set a high goal and when you set a not so high goal. It determines the amount of exertion we do.
This was an
Harry,
important check. Rook f8 and rook e8, not allowing rook d3 and the king to go further back because black was making a lot of progress. So it's important to push the king back.
right. Well, Harry Potter in the chat going, chess is not good for David's hair. And
I
Harry
trust
Potter
Samya
also,
to abide by a promise. What promise, yeah? Harry Potter is saying.
I was also
Diamond
wondering the same. Did you
membership,
promise Harry something?
diamond membership मिल गया. हाँ, for the person who predicts who will win in the third game of Temur versus Yifan.
Oh,
They had asked
did
this
anyone
question.
predict?
Yeah, they all predicted something or the other. So we have to check who predicted Temur would win and who
Right,
was the first one to predict that. I think I'm going up.
right.
I think Hemang Huria predicted it first. Hemang Huria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my chat. I don't know if we are going by chronology or just random lucky draw. But चैट के हिसाब से तो हेमंत खुरिया जीत चुके हैं डायमंड मेंबरशिप.
Congratulations, Hemang. How many moves has it been since Black played H5? It's been 20 moves. So we have to wait for 30 moves more for the 50 move draw. Now it's only 28. And the speed at which they're playing, It will take, I think, mathematically about 2 to 3 minutes for this game to end in a draw. So it's 6:49 now. Around 6:52, we will be ready to congratulate. Chat, Arjun might join us. So while he's here, please be sure we are ready with all the Arjun OP. Do make sure to hit that like button. It wouldn't look good if Arjun comes here and sees less than 250 likes for his gameplay. So make sure that we prepare the stream properly for his arrival. And if you have any questions for him, do let us know in advance. And yeah,
Yeah,
please.
guys, come on, like the stream, guys, so that it reaches more and more people. I see a lot of people are watching, but बहुत ज्यादा लोगों ने stream like नहीं की है अब तक. Please click on the like button so that we can reach out to many people. And also अर्जुन को भी बहुत अच्छा लगेगा कि ज्यादा लोग देख रहे हैं, ज्यादा लोग उनका इंटरव्यू देखने आए हैं, उनका गेम देख रहे थे. ये देखकर उनको भी बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. सो डू हिट द लाइक बटन, गाइस.
Yep. Meanwhile, David Paravian has managed to bring his king onto f4, but it's not anything to worry because we always have this g6 pawn under our control, under our sight. So doesn't really mean anything in the context of this game. Now White just waits king h2, king h3, king h2, king h3, and Black doesn't have much improvement to make. It's 36 moves since h5. So 13 more moves now, 12 more moves for the 50 more rule. David flirting with danger. He has only 2 seconds remaining, and he can't even get rook e5 to trade the rooks because of rook into g6. And he's giving his heart a bit of extra workout. Finally, going for the pawn trade. Rook into g6, rook into h4 check would be a blender because Black had this rook g4 check here. So
Yeah.
Arjun is alert to that and instead starts giving these non-stop checks. And we are just 4 moves away from the 50 move, but Arjun takes rook into g6 and delays it by another 50 moves in case they are not in a mood to agree for a draw.
That's a nice way to put it. But this is a total draw because अभी rook king f3 के बाद rook e5 जैसे moves के बाद ही हम हार जाते हैं after rook h1 checkmate. But king f5 and now maybe just rook h6 or even rook e3. Rook e3 seems a completely valid move here. Rook e8.
Yeah, this reminds me of this last game of the round entitled Tuesday, Soumya. There is always that one game which is going on, Rook versus Rook for 50 moves. And I've been guilty of it 3 times, playing Rook versus Rook.
Wow.
It's,
Wow. What
always
What
like you would be in a winning position, you end up blundering something, and you kind of find it hard to accept that it's a draw and you want to keep trying. And then there was this one time where I played this Rook versus Rook, and my opponent actually blundered his Rook, but I played too fast and didn't take it.
There it is. We have the draw on the board. Arjun has gone through to round 2. Congratulations, Arjun. Very well done. He's played like a champion that he is.
Absolutely. And you have the exact opposite of Raunak's reaction yesterday from Arjun. Raunak was animated in a celebration. Arjun's like, yeah, okay, sure. Of course I was going to win this one. What's the big deal? And he even leaves his he just leaves the Zoom, and I don't know when he's going to go from there.
We might be joined by Arjun anytime soon, so we will wait for a confirmation regarding that. Meanwhile, yeah, it's been a very comfortable match, very comfortable victory for him. On the other hand, David looked visibly upset, and why not? It was a disappointing day for him overall. He couldn't create any chances at all, couldn't fluster Arjun at any point. That is definitely a very frustrating feeling to go home with, that you couldn't pose any sort of problems to your opponent. But yeah.
Absolutely, it was a commanding display. Arjun just started attacking him right from game 1, crushed him in the opening. and he was very solid from game 2, game 3. Never really gave him a chance to get into the match at all. One of the most dominant displays we have seen in the global championship so far.
Absolutely. And I think um, Temur and Yifan's fourth game is still yet to be played. So
Yeah,
Yifan,
it's yet to begin. But we
yeah,
can go back and have a look at that end in that exciting game 3, Taimur was actually doing quite well. And then the scramble happened. Somehow this bishop got stuck on d7, and he was actually the one winning earlier. But the bishop got stuck, and I think he just blundered this rook into d7. So this was the first
oh,
turning point in the game.
oh my God, that is so easy to blunder. That is such an obvious move. Queen into b6 and suddenly rook d7, and you're like, what? What just happened? Oh God, now I get it. Because oh my God, White had such a commanding position, and it looked like any move wins. All of Black's pawns are simply hanging, waiting to be captured, and you suddenly blunder the bishop on d7. That must have
Yeah,
got real bad. And I guess he just continued on momentum. Okay, let's just play, let's just fight out. We have all these pawns. At least let's scare our opponent.
yeah, and it was actually Taimur who had more time. He had 30 seconds. Hou Yifan had only 5 seconds, but Taimur was the one who made the first blender. And then Hou Yifan was in her element. She played all these moves, and this is the point when we zoomed into the game. Black was attacking. White does have pretty good compensation for the piece, 3 pawns, but Black was attacking 2 of them. So he went into the Black's King's camp with Queen f6, but Hou Yifan just chopping off the rook with this nice, elegant knight fork. And Taimur didn't mind that though. He just started advancing his pawns, and as long as he had queen into g6, he always had this perpetual e7, a key move, because if he started with queen g6, there was always queen g7. So it was important to start with e7 here, which he did. Queen d7 check, king h2, queen f5, defending the g6 pawn, without which black cannot win. Queen into d6, and this was the critical moment in the game once again, the game-changing moment. But already it was not so. It was never easy for black to win the game. It was she was holding it. Shouldn't have lost this one, but white always had drawing chances, I think.
There is a very pretty idea here. After rook e8, white goes queen d8, and if black plays king f7, we actually can even take on e8, queen e8, king e8, and b7, and there is no way to prevent white from queening on the next move.
Wow, this is spectacular. Helpless black pieces looking on as white makes another queen would be the caption of this picture. Picturesque moment.
Very nicely put there. So actually, it wasn't that lost. It just looked lost, but maybe White had lot of practical chances because of his scary pawns and his courageous queen. अकेले black के camp में जाके पूरा सब कुछ खा लिया, rook खा लिया, pawn खा लिया, and बाद में knight भी मर गया उनका White का.
Right.
So we can go into a break right now. We'll be back shortly with the winner of round 3, day 3, Arjun Erigaisi with us. We will be back with him shortly. Please stay with us, chat. Don't go anywhere. with the winner of day 3, Arjun Erigaisi, who wiped out David Paravian's chances right from the first move in his match. He gave him no chances at all. Arjun played like a warrior today, the skilled warrior that he is. How are you feeling, Arjun? Congratulations, massive congratulations, first of all, and how are you feeling?
Thank you. It's a great feeling, especially to win in the game. His classical rating is a bit low, but I know he's much stronger than that. He's easily 2050 plus 10, so I knew it was not going to be an easy match. And it feels good to have it in this game.
Your first game was a classic display of your preparation. We really enjoyed it. I mean, you were totally in command. You had so much time on the clock. Do you want to take us through it?
Oh, yes, sure. So this one, I have prepared it for the Olympiad. Um,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
wait. Now you should be able to hear me better.
Yeah. Now it's so much better.
And before we get to the game, I want to know, did your strategy work out today, Srinath and Arjun? I know that you discussed a little bit before the game. Did it work
For
out?
the Armageddon.
No,
Sorry?
not only for the Armageddon. I mean, Armageddon never happened, of course. But your match strategy, you must have thought of some things about how to approach.
Strategy is just simple. Try to win with white regardless, and if possible, stay solid with black and take the chances that you get with black. And no, I was more interested about Armageddon. It's a completely new format, and
So you're interested to play in the Armageddon, is it?
no. I was more interested to discuss about Armageddon. I wanted to avoid Armageddon.
Right. And we had a game as well. The first game of the match where Arjun had this commanding win. Arjun leaving the game
I
to you
don't see the
and
board.
Soumya.
Yeah, it's on the screen
Wait,
share.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, so Arjun played the London system with white for the chat, who could not join us for the first game. Arjun was white and he decided to play the London system against the King's Indian setup taken by David. So you expected him to go for the King's Indian, Arjun?
No, so he's mainly a Grunfeld player.
Okay.
So I was expecting 1 NF6 and 2 G6.
Okay.
And so yeah, I had prepared this in the London system, and I think it's all very logical until knight C5, knight C6, bishop F5.
So Queen D2 is not that. Oh, all of this you expected him to go for, like CD4, knight
Yes.
to F5.
So it's all pretty much known until H5 followed by short castle.
Right.
After that, I believe the most natural way of playing is to play C5, knight C6. And F3 is an interesting move. It's more of a prophylactic move, preventing all knight E4, bishop G4 business. And also it helps white get some G4 at some point. So bishop F5 is quite natural here. And bishop B5. Here black has two moves. One is rook C8. I was hoping he would do this because here after bishop takes C6, B takes C6, knight A4 is very strong. Objectively, it's still equal, but black has to find its only move, knight E8, which is very difficult in my opinion.
Oh, okay. What's the logic? Why is it the only move? To get some F6 or?
Yeah, I think black has to take concrete action with F6, knight D3, knight D6, something like that.
Right.
And potential E5.
Yeah, makes sense. So you were, and I think a similar thing would have happened even for Queen B6, right? We were looking at Queen B6 here.
Queen B6, yeah, just bishop C6, knight A4. This is already an advantage for white, I think.
You don't mind
Basically,
that
both
the
of
king
them.
is stuck in the center after queen b5.
Queen b5 b3. The point is, knight would go to c5. White can push a4 and castle short, or he can just castle long.
Oh, nice.
And black's major problems are the bishop on g7 is kind of dead, and also the pawn on c6 is very loose, and white has fantastic outposts for both his knights.
Very nice.
Right. So beautifully explained. So David, of course, understandably evaded that with knight into e5, all captures on c6. But
Right.
by doing so, he'd already spent 3/5 of his time, 60%.
Yeah, I think he had like 4 minutes around this point. And it's okay. It was still in my preparation. The e5, knight d7, long castle, knight e5, rook e1. And knight c6 is one of the moves. Bishop h6. And if I remember correctly, e5 was the move here.
Okay.
And here white does have a few options, but it's equal.
Very
Right.
nice. This is very, very deep into the game, and you have checked everything well. And I mean, already a very good sign that you got your preparation on the board and you remember it, all of it.
Yeah. And he took bishop h6, queen h6, e6, g4. This was already out of your prep, yeah?
Oh, yes. But okay, g4 was the most logical move here. I have to follow it up with some concrete action. And here, after hg4, so I was thinking whether to go h5 or take on g4 and go knight e4.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought after d4, rook d8, rook d8, he has enough compensation. But I did not realize how good my attack here is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rook
just get
g1 and
rid of.
h5 incoming.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe take on c6 first so that the knight wouldn't be a hassle. And now rook g1, then h5.
Very instructive, actually, no? Black has
Yeah.
no
Yeah, very instructive. Absolutely. So h5, which was perhaps a bit of an inaccuracy.
Right.
Queen f6 takes. But practically, it was always, I think,
Yeah, I
almost
think it was
impossible to
very
defend with black.
uncomfortable, and especially with he had already like 2 minutes, so it's even more difficult.
Yeah, yeah. So rook g1 happened. Knight he defended with knight e5, which
Yeah,
is, I guess,
also here an
okay.
interesting line is bishop takes d1, head g6, queen h8, and at first it seems like black is surviving, but I can just
Mm-hmm.
simply take on h8, or maybe there's something stronger, I don't know. But what I was intending was take g7, gf8, and just take on d1. But as the bar says, there's something stronger.
You take and do what?
Yeah, I was intending this, just
Queen.
take on f8. Yeah, queen, whatever, even knight works.
Yeah.
Maybe with the king. But I wonder what the computer and things
Here, yeah.
after queen h8, yeah. Mm.
Just should I say?
Wait.
Can I make a guess?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I like queen f4.
Right answer.
And it's
Okay, gf7 and g7.
they
Yeah.
have threats, and both of them look quite strong.
Yeah. Yeah, queen
Sorry, I
f4
didn't hear. What did you say here?
No,
Sorry, I didn't hear. What did? Yeah.
I mean, we have two threads, gf7, and if black prevents it, we have g7, and both of them are quite strong. We retain the queens, and the black king remains weak. So
Yeah. So
and the
this
bishop on
is,
d1 would always fall.
yeah, this is completely winning. because the king is still vulnerable, apart from being down in material.
Right.
So rook g1, he played knight to e5, understandable.
Mhm.
We were just seeing bishop into d1, but black played knight e5, keeping all his pieces close. Since he had very less time, rook e1, bishop f5. And after queen f4, now I think it already started becoming too much pressure for him.
Yeah, especially practically, it's maybe even almost over because he had just 16 seconds and a lot of attack on his king.
Absolutely. So he went back knight to c6, bishop d3, queen d4. From here, black started going wrong in an objective sense, yeah.
Oh, yes.
But
Maybe he
it's
should have
hard to
played
blame
knight
him.
e7, but it all looks very cramped and ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has to deal with threats on the king side anyhow.
Yeah, also I can slowly maybe manage my knight or something. It's a long-term attack anyway.
Right. So he went queen d4, and queen g3 was a pretty strong move here.
Yeah,
Bishop into
just
d3,
now
c into
Knight
d4.
to
G6 is
d3,
a
knight
remains good.
d4, and king d2.
Yeah. All the moves were predicted by Soumya.
Nice.
She could, if she was there, I think she could have played the exact same game.
Nice.
But to make the preparation, I think also is part of the game, you know. That I
Yeah, you
don't.
could just hire Arjun as your second, and
Acha. Okay, I
yeah.
can't afford him. I would love to, but I can't afford him. Uh, he though forgets collecting his prize money also. I can't imagine what would be his fee as a second or a trainer.
I'll tell you the secret. What you have to offer Arjun to
Okay,
get anything in return.
okay, deal.
Look at Arjun's smile then. Yeah, let's just quickly get the end of the game. King g7, h into g6, f5, and now rook into e6 was
Yeah,
nice because it's still possible to mess up the game with queen c7, king f6,
and I couldn't say
and
complete mate here. So
yeah, this doesn't win. Yeah,
yeah, the thing is, Rook G1 is no longer possible because Rook would just hang.
yeah. So
Yeah,
rook
he is.
e6 was important. Rook c8, and here he just kind of gave up. Yeah, with queen g5.
Yeah, I think he just had a blind spot, but okay, it's lost anyway. Let's say he went King G8. I was intending Queen H3
Right,
and Queen H7 is inevitable.
right.
You can throw in some check. Queen F2, I think I can even play Knight E2, allow Rook C2, but just King D1 and nothing happens here.
Wow, nice. That's very, very
No,
pretty.
that's a blunder. G1
Not
was
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, no. Now queen c2
yeah,
or
also
queen
Queen.
c. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Rook E2 is always there anyway.
Right.
And with that fabulous win, Arjun scored his first win of the game, of the match. And Arjun, I was curious, were you a bit surprised by your opponent's choice of Petrov in a must win game?
Oh, yes, I was quite surprised. No, I didn't think he would play E4, E5. And I was just intending to play the 4-knight setup. He played E4, E5, NF3, and F6. Here, I forgot that I can still play NC3, NC6, and go D4.
Right.
Yeah.
So that came as a surprise, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Are you
And
uh, while preparing for the game, were you like planning to play all your favorite lines, or you wanted to keep them for the future? You wanted to like just play your like some sideline in this game. What was your attitude like?
No, I recently realized it's a very bad idea to reserve something for the future because let's say I get knocked out here, then preserving makes no sense. So yeah, I try to go with my bulletproof proof prep.
Beast mode always on, yeah? You don't
Yeah.
preserve it for the future. It's right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's next for you from here?
Over the board, I'm playing in Austria, European Club Cup in October, and I have one other important online tournament coming as well before that.
Right. We have some questions from the chat, by the way, meanwhile. And one of the questions is, during the game, Soumya was thinking that you looked tired. And I said, it's not that you look tired, you were just bored. Which was it?
During the third game, I was bored
Third game.
because I knew
You're
it was
bored.
just a draw and I had to play on. And
But you were bored
Yeah,
from the beginning. I mean, it's not like you were bored when you entered the Rook endgame. In the opening itself, you were like, "Ha, theek hai." That
I
you
was
had the same
slightly
expectation.
frustrated with myself. So I was following the previous matches,
Acha.
and in a lot of in a lot of matches, I just needed a draw in the final game to win the match. But I think it's due to the pressure and everything, they were just collapsing. For
Okay.
instance, that happened to Adams last night. And the only thing that I told myself is to avoid that. But that's exactly what happened. I played very bad in the opening middle game stage. So I was a bit frustrated with myself.
yeah, it happens just so many times that we try to not do something and end up doing that exact same thing. Meanwhile, we are back to live action in the match between Hou Yifan against Taimur Radjabov, which also brings the question on your thoughts about this matchup, Arjun. And this context is Raja has a 2-1 lead, which is not easy though. The last game was quite topsy turvy, and Raja eventually ended up winning in a time scramble. So, what are your thoughts?
Is he white or black here?
Here is black.
Then I think he's a big favorite to seal the match because black's position looks fantastic.
And what are your thoughts on a potential match against Rajab?
Well, it would be interesting. I think I played him only once until now, that to just one game, and this would be a match. So I think this is my first match against an elite player apart from Levon.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, all
In
the
a
all the
match
matches
format.
in Arjun's history, I think, has been against Levon.
Oh my God. And you managed to impress Levon very, very much, despite being his opponent. So, yes, we hope you do the same with Raja as well.
Yeah, fully.
Right. And how do you rate your chances against Raja?
Mm, Maybe 50-50 or 60-40 in my favor, something like that.
It's very nice.
All right. We are excited for that, and we look forward to. We're still not sure if Raja will get through because yeah, he's winning the match and he has a good position in the game. But we saw what happened in Game 3 of this exact match as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. Did you manage to follow that position?
No, I just followed the results of the first two games, and that was
It was crazy. Like Temur was completely better. Actually, he had an amazing dominating position, and then he just blundered a bishop. And
yeah,
then he was like just playing on like folk mode,
out of
and he
inertia.
had a lot of pawns, and he had this beautiful queen which just broke through black's defenses, and he gave up a rook also. So he's pieced down and rook down.
Mm.
Is this
And
some kind of a
Pavan.
blender though?
Mm.
Is knight into d2 winning a
Yeah, now,
piece?
yeah, it does.
Is she intending some takes rook into d5 here?
Yeah,
But
but it's not enough. Just queen d5 and black is up a full exchange.
Right. Yeah. This one's just completely winning. Right. And do you have any more questions for Arjun, Swami? Soumya is so awestruck of Arjun's match that she is just completely frozen. You saw that look, and not by accident, I guess. That was the effect of Arjun's preparation and his powerful gameplay in this match today. And talking about your future plans, Arjun, before getting to your next round opponent in the Global Chess Championship, you first have Magnus Carlsen coming up in a few days. How excited are you for that event? How's your preparation, and how do you enjoy the formats, the 15+10 format in the CCT, and the faster formats here?
Yeah, I personally prefer 15+2 because it has lot less increment and there are a lot more scrambles, so it's definitely lot more fun. But either case, both are not classical and they're a lot of fun. And yeah, playing Magnus would be, I think, my third time, and I look forward to it. I'm white this time, so
You have drawn the previous two matches,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. And how you have, I think, reached the quarterfinals, the last two in the CCTs that you have played. Are you looking to go further this time?
Yeah, I definitely hope to do better. Maybe not run into 11 again.
Or get your revenge this time?
Yeah, that also works.
That also works. All right, Arjun. Thank you so much for your time. Big congratulations on behalf of the chat, on behalf of us and everyone. Big congratulations. Fantastic match. Looking forward to see much more of you playing in the upcoming days, the upcoming week. Thank you so much, and we'll let you go on that.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All right. So that was Arjun Erigaisi, our man or slash boy of the moment, going on from wins to wins to wins. I wake up, I brush my teeth. Arjun wakes up, he walks towards another tournament win, another match win, and he's just been an unstoppable force in the last 1 to 1.5 years. And he's likely to set up a mouth-watering clash with Timur Radjabov, who is incredibly solid. So he might well be an immovable object in their matchup. It's a cliched reference, but it's not my fault that since the Dark Knight Rises, there has been no continuation of the Nolan trilogy. So I have to go with that immobile object and unstoppable force. Arjun likely to play against Temur Rajavo very, very shortly because he's winning this one. He's going to win this piece with bishop into f3. And it's going to happen super soon. And on that note, we also have Soumya back.
Hi, yeah, I'm sorry I got disconnected. I think Arjun left. I don't see him on the call. So, yeah.
Yeah, he waited really long, but he had another match to win, so he left.
Wow, that's fantastic. It was really great to have him on the stream and share his thoughts. And he's so honest, yeah. Like, whenever he gives interviews, he's so honest. I asked him, Acha, why were you feeling, like, why did you have that expression on the face? First, he was like, yeah, I was really bored. And then when I asked him, no, but you had it in the beginning also. Yeah, that time I didn't like my position. It's so sweet. He's just so honest. Very nice to have him.
Yeah, yeah, he's very honest, and it's refreshing to see that kind of honesty. To be honest,
It's a gift.
yeah, cute and honest.
So,
Oops,
do you
Gabbar
have?
Singh says we did not ask their questions. I'm really sorry, Gabbar. I couldn't pay attention to the chat with so many other windows. But rest assured, this is not the last time we are going to have Arjun on our screen because he's going to just keep winning stuff. So I'll keep note of the unanswered questions and ask that the next time.
Right. And what about the game? There is one game left. Are we covering that? Raja versus Yifan?
Yeah, I think we can go for it because I don't expect it to last too long. Raja is so winning, so I think we're just going to have another 5 to 10 minutes of the game going on, and he has there we have the tournament tree as well. Let's review the actions going on. Anish versus Ronak. That's a super exciting prospect. And we also have the Kramnik Nihal matchup, which is again super exciting. The second round of the global championship will happen between 22 to 26. And the matches to look forward to tomorrow will be Dura against Guha in Dura's group, the group B, and Vidit Sarana, which will also be a mouth-watering prospect. We are back to the game.
Nice. So, okay, Raja's got this, right? He's definitely gonna convert this. This is a very, very comfortable position. A5, A4 coming in actually. The A pawn is rolling ahead even in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see the match end in this game itself, and there won't be any Armageddon here. Yifan has been such a sport, though. I mean, every time we see her on the screen, even if the result hasn't gone her way, she's constantly smiling, and it's so nice to see her actually. She's enjoying just the process, of playing chess, and she's able to like appreciate even the small miracles that happen over the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And meanwhile, I saw chat being a bit disappointed with chess.com, yeah, that they made a clip of Neat. And I just hope I don't get
I missed that, so I'm going to watch that clip because I think I had to go when this whole conversation happened, and I missed that, and I was really curious. I'm going to go and watch that
after
clip
the stream, right?
after the stream. Yes.
But so many Neat students out here. At least
Chat
there
is
are two from chat.
Chat is hilarious. Chat has decided it's going to ask its own questions for Diamond membership giveaway. Harry Potter says, tell a sad story and you will be considered for Diamond membership. Start 1, 2, 3. I could not, and then he tells his own story. I could not afford a chessboard, so I started playing in my bathroom tiles with soap and plungers. What rubbish! What rubbish! Oh God! ये बहुत अच्छा है. एटलीस्ट इसका मतलब ये है कि ये सारे जो चैट में है वो chess.com को अपना ही चैनल समझते हैं, इसीलिए हक से अपने ही क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हैं और अपने ही क्वेश्चंस को जवाब देकर खुद को ही डायमंड मेंबरशिप रिवॉर्ड कर रहे हैं. वेरी स्वीट, वेरी नाइस चैट.
Yeah, but ultimately you only need a credit card for diamond membership. So that's also a way to give yourself away the diamond membership. It's not a totally out of the question thing.
But it feels nice when you win it as a prize.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got my dad a chess.com diamond membership. So
you did?
Yeah. Just last month. Before that, he was a gold member, and then I got him a diamond membership because he was complaining that he kept running out of puzzles. and just like,
I just thought of a joke that if Srinath's girlfriend asks for diamonds, he might just gift her a chess.com diamond membership instead of the real ones. Oh
yeah,
God, that's
that's
quite
the way to
awesome.
not have any girlfriends, which
That's
is
the
probably
way
what happened in my life.
that's the way to be single forever.
Damn.
Wow, by the way, great news coming in. Ilam Party and Pranav Anand have won gold in the World Youth Championship. Ilam Party won the gold in under 14 section and Pranav Anand has won the under 16 section. Huge congratulations. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Huge congratulations to both these amazing talents. And once again, congratulations to Pranav Anand for becoming the 76th Grandmaster. Meanwhile, some questions, relevant questions in the chat, Soumya, about your predictions for the Arjun Raja matchup, which is likely to happen.
Wow, I actually think the chances are 50-50.
Yeah, but Arjun sounded quite confident. He even rated himself at 60%, but it felt like he didn't want to state it out, So that was a very bold statement from Arjun, I should say.
Yeah, he's definitely very confident about his chances, and that's a very good thing. It's just that Raja is such a fighter. I mean, you saw what he did at the candidates, everyone did. He had a terrible first half. I mean, that is like one of the worst first halves you can ever have. And after that, he actually came back roaring in the second half and finished third in the candidate. So I mean, he's always fighting. Like even the game against Yifan is so typical Temur. Like he just doesn't give up. He'll keep creating chances, and he has a very calm attitude towards this whole fighting thing. Like he's. I don't think he even gets emotionally rattled.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember when Proc defeated Raja last year, and I was absolutely shocked that someone can do that to Taimur, play like that, and defeat him in that fashion. And it was barely a year ago. But 1 year onwards, we are seeing these players as equals. That's how much the juniors have grown. And once again, to remind the chat, Taimur has been a massive prodigy himself. He defeated Gary Kasparov and Vishy Anand even before these kids were born, all of them. And at that time, I think Taimur was around the same age, 15 years or 16 years old.
He was 15 years old. He's the youngest. Okay, by the way, speaking of that, he has won the match, and Yifan graceful as ever in defeat, and Temur expressionless totally. But he has won this match, and he has gone ahead to round two. Huge congratulations, Temur, and to Yifan as well for first of all agreeing to play here. That itself was a treat for all of us. We got to see her play after a really long time, and so nice to see her. I hope we get to see more of her in these online championships at least.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, there's a question out there in the chat for the Diamond membership. Which World Championship did our host Srinath and Soumya win? So that's a giveaway, much needed giveaway question for the chat. Chat, do answer that. And Soumya, leaving the stage to you.
It's a very sweet question. Good memories. I was actually present when Srinath won his world championship. I was present in that tournament, and I can.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was also one of the first times we met and spoke to each other. And I remember it was such a difficult journey to even reach Belfort. And we all landed and reached like 1 hour before the game. We were sharing all the different
Paratha.
food that we had. Yeah. And you're giving some paratas which didn't look good to me. So I was like, oh no, I don't want to have this. And you're like, no, there's nothing. This is only vellam. And then
I
I
had
ate it.
gul poli and paratha. So yeah, I mean earlier you used to always pack all this food and go because you had this idea that foreign में तो खाना ही नहीं मिलता है बस सब लोग बीफ और पोक ही खाते हैं तो हमको तो खाना नहीं मिलेगा तो इसीलिए you used to carry I mean at least I used to carry all of these
It used to
paratha
be like that.
and pickle all of this stuff so that it will last us for 10 days and we finished it on the first day itself because we didn't get lunch and there were so many of us in the contingent so at least I think it was a good system at least it came useful on a rainy day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A rainy day, a stormy day, a bad weather day. It was really handy.
Also, I remember in this tournament, Yifan played as well. She played in the World Under 10
Yeah,
section.
no, she played in the same as man, under 12.
Okay, yeah, because she played in the boys section, I remember. Yeah. So clearly it's not World Under 10, guys, because that's not the section Yifan played in, and that's a good hint. So what do you think, guys?
Yeah, I see some of the chat going and predicting pretty much all the age groups out there, and one of them is born to be right. I see people writing under 14, under 12.
Under 16, and one person wrote Asian Junior, and Rakesh is like, that's not a world championship.
World Championship. It's only the Asian Championship. There's a difference between the Asian Championship and the World Championship.
Someone has predicted under 8. Let me just inform this chat that under 8 did not exist. Did it exist as a section? I don't think so.
No, it did not. Not in 2005.
Under 10 ही था. It is a very recent addition. अभी तो I think under 5 ही है.
Yeah, Parikshit is right. I did win in the under 12. So, Parikshit, do email Rakesh at chess.com.
Wow. Congratulations, Parikshit, for the diamond membership that you have won. That's great. Yeah. Srinath won the under 12 World Championship that year, and Sehaj won the under 10 World Championship. So we had two Indians winning the World Youth that year in 2005. Very nice memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's fantastic, guys. This was a lot of fun. And it was great to see Arjun win. It was so nice to have him on the stream today, share his thoughts. And it was fun interacting with the chat too. I think chat came up with a lot of fun ideas today and fun questions, fun interactions. बहुत मजा आया. कल लास्ट डे है राउंड 1 का जिसमें इंडियन पार्टिसिपेशन होगा. वी हैव विदित गुजराती प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट Alexis Sarana, and we have Mitraba Guha playing against Jan Christoph Duda tomorrow. The games start at 4:30 p.m. as usual. Do join us. This is the group. This is the tournament bracket in front of you. Do join us tomorrow and cheer for Vidit and Mitraba along with us. Will be बहुत मजा आने वाला है, guys. बहुत अच्छा लगा आज का stream. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great evening.
Yeah, thank you so much and see you all tomorrow.